Welcome, everyone. It's a finale of the ages. In the deserts of Arizona, we get to crown a brand new A-Squared Cup Series champion for the Darkside Mustangs A-Squared Cup Series. It's the pinnacle of ARCS stock car racing. For the first time, it's on ABN, and for the first time this season, I'm not alone in the booth. I'm Clayton Hardy. Alongside me, two drivers that have made numerous starts this season. Gabbard and Briley Wright will help me call the action here tonight from Phoenix Raceway for the Arizona 156. Terry, Briley, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me here tonight. And Terry, you've had experience here at Phoenix. You raced here in the Indy ARCS series. You raced here in the spring race this season, earlier this season. This track is difficult. It is hard to pass. What makes this track so difficult for drivers to handle, and what are the championship four have to deal with here tonight as they get ready for qualifying?
Well, this track is flat, and every corner is different, so these drivers are going to be doing something different in turn 1 than they're going to be doing in turn 2, that they're going to be doing in turn 3, when we ain't got a turn 4. And so this is a great spot to have a championship race. This is going to test the drivers to their maximum. And so we're going to see a lot of good racing. I'm really excited about it.
Obviously, we'll catch up with Bradley here in just a moment here. For those that kind of new to everything, you'll see the ticker. It's got a bunch of numbers in the red and white, and then you got 4 numbers in the silver and black. Those denoting in the silver and black, they are our championship 4. And as you can tell, none of them are in the top 4 in the standings. Sprayo's the fastest at the moment, but he's sitting 5th. He's, I believe, half a second down. He's over half a second down on the fastest lap, which was set by John Smeal, which I believe was a wall riding lap, so I don't know how valid that one is. But it is going to be a challenging place nonetheless here this evening, as we let everyone file in here and practice. For the first time, we're streaming on Sunday here on ABN to cap off what has been a very long and enduring season. But it's been a lot of fun seeing all the drivers evolve as this car's evolved from February. Terry, you've done several races here. You've raced with a lot of these drivers, with obviously Brayo being I think the driver with the most wins. I think he's won 6 times. Toby's got a couple wins. He won at Dover, which is another challenging track. Tom Sears, he's only got 1 win, but I think he's probably the critical underdog here. And then you got Jacob Blankenship, the regular season champion earlier this season, and the Truck Series champion from last night. All 4 drivers bring something completely different to the table. You've raced with all 4 of them. Which of these 4 kind of stick out in your mind as being favorites here tonight? Obviously, Brayo's quickest in the time session, but he's not the most confident in this car. Does that play a factor tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I've raced with Toby, Jeremy, Tom, Jacob. I've raced with all of them. You look at Tom, he's only got 1 win in A-Square this year. But, I mean, if this guy wins a championship now, we're talking about, and we talked about this before we went live, Tom Sears is looking at being the ARCS GOAT. He's a 2-time TNT champion. You can't count that guy out. Jeremy Briel, this guy is humble as they come. He will look at you and he will say, "This is not my track." He'll turn around and win the race. When you look at a top 4 like this, these guys are giving it all that they have. They're giving us the best we got. A-Squared has come down to 4 guys that are going to make this a really interesting race. I'm super excited to see it happen.
Right now, drivers' meeting is underway, so everyone's going to be on track. Everyone's going to be in pit lane at the moment. We'll kind of walk through, for everyone that's new to watching this series here this evening, it is a bit different from what we're used to seeing. So stage racing here tonight is what we're going to see. Stage 1 ends on lap 40. Stage 2 ends on lap 80. This is a 156 lap race, 156 miles. Stage points, do they matter? Do they not matter? How important are the stage points going to be, especially knowing that this is it? The strategy this season was give up the stage points for the race win. You don't do that now. How does that, especially in Brayo's case, where he's abandoned the stage points so often, how rough, how rough is it on the tires to try to make it through those stages? And how how aggressive? Put yourself in their shoes for a second. They're battling for a championship. How aggressive do you be from the get-go here?
Well, stage racing probably isn't going to matter much in this race. You got 4 guys, and it's not going to matter where they finish in stage 1 or stage 2. It's going to matter where they win the race. The problem is going to rely in you're probably going to at least lose a lap if you go and pit early before the stage ends. So if you see, the top 5, top 6, top 10 try to save and get through, if we get into that situation, then if you're a championship 4 driver, you have to stay out and try to make it happen. There's not going to be a thing where you're going to be able to go a lap down, 2 laps down in this race and still put yourself in a position to win a championship. And so while stage racing doesn't matter, we know when the caution is going to come out because the stage is going to end. And so I don't think, at least for the championship 4, they're going to be trying to take any more risks than they have to, Clayton.
Yeah, qualifying is going to be in a few minutes, and this is going to be where it gets interesting. So obviously, you look at pole qualifying. The fastest driver, the driver with the most poles this season, was Josh Gaiman. He's out of the running. Toby Estes has been second on the pole sheets. Jeremy was the pole sitter at Phoenix back in the spring. But this car has changed so much. And Terry, I don't know how much you've been in this car since all these changes have taken place. Comparing what this car was like in the spring, how different is it now, and how different has everyone's driving styles had to be?
Well, I mean, we could go back past the spring. We could go to February, January, December when we first got this car. And we was kind of talking about this last weekend, like we was maybe testing at Charlotte when we first got this next gen car on iRacing, and it was literally you could drive pedal to the metal all the way around the track, no problems, no issues. Since then, this car has gone through constant changes. So these drivers all year long have been dealing with a different car as we continue to go. If the car has changed here at Phoenix more than it changed in the spring, obviously, because these guys have gone through multiple changes. But these drivers that are in this race right now, especially these championship 4 drivers, they know how to handle these changes. They've got multiple laps of practice, and don't ever think for 1 second that these top 4 don't want to win this title. This is a big deal for these drivers. And so the changes are there. Even in Discord today, I was seeing chats where guys were talking about, well, the car's really loose and this and that, and then other drivers weren't having that issue. And so it's going to be really interesting. The car's gone through a ton of changes in the last year. This is just another extension of that. And I think that these, at least Championship 4, they're ready for this race.
Well, in order to get ready for the race, you got to get ready for qualifying. Qualifying a minute away. Again, we'll kind of pull up the race information for everybody that missed it as we went on the air. Again, Clayton Hardy, Terry Gabbard in the booth right now. Briley Wright will join us here in just a minute. 86 degrees, the air temp here in Phoenix. It's 96 on track. So tires, they are going to matter a decent amount with that track temp. It will not get too much cooler than this right now. So one thing we'll talk about, and we'll see this in qualifying, the open dog leg. Everyone, we see it fan out. We see the insanity that comes from the open dog leg in these cars. How difficult, we've heard on and off, especially as the cars change, how difficult it's become to take the dog leg at full speed. How do you approach the dog leg personally going into this? Like, how close do you cut it, especially with pit exit right there?
Yeah, I don't really think the dogleg is going to be the race winning or race losing issue. I think that if we have green flag pit stops, which could be very well an issue, you're going to have drivers that are going to be exiting out of that, and yeah, you have that thing. Turn 1 and 2, though, that's going to be the issue. I've seen drivers run low. I've seen them run high and try to get a run out of the exit. I think 1 and 2, Clayton, is where this race is going to be won or lost. I think 3 or 4, you kind of got to run it on the bottom. I don't see really any way around that. But 1 and 2, that's going to be where this race is going to be won or where the race is going to be lost.
right now we're looking as qualifying has begun here at Phoenix. Seth Wansing, two-time A-Square Cup Series champion. He will not be champion in 2022. But he's the first one on track wanting to get pole position. A new look this time around for the number 9 for Team Sideswipe. As he goes about his first laps, a lot of cars on track. Hauk, Belleville, Breo, Andrews, Smeal, Fetterplace, Reynolds, and Kerr. As Wansing completes his first lap. What does it look like? Everyone has 10 minutes. Now it's less than 9. Wansing's first lap, 27.6. As we
Something
see
I'm seeing.
Go ahead.
Something I'm seeing, Clayton, is some of these drivers not happy with their exit out of 3 and 4, and so they're trying to stop. I saw Jonathan Smeal. He ran a lap, and he wasn't happy with how he was going to get that run coming into turn 1, and they're kind of stopping before the start-finish line, trying to get another shot at it.
Belleville just went to the top of the board. One of your teammates in the number 41. He sits at the top of the sheets. 2 race wins this season in quick succession for the 41. Wansing, 3rd fastest so far. We'll jump to Toby Estes, won the championship 4. We just saw that. He kind of backed up turns 3 and 4 so he could get a run. We'll see if that helps him out at all. He wants to go to the top of the board. He wants another pole position. Best place to start this race is from the front. Number 19 going down the back straightaway here. Better place up to 5th.
Yeah, no, Belleville with that 27.5. The controller hero, he's got a really good shot to win this race, Clayton, even though he's not going to be racing for a championship.
That's going to be the interesting thing. Like, it is literally, for the championship 4, is just how good can you finish? And there's a lot of drivers, Belleville, Reynolds, Gaiman, Wansing, all of them want to play spoiler. They want these championship 4 to be further down the order, just to say, hey, here's this what if. Especially for Reynolds, for Gaiman, for Wansing, all 3 of them were in the championship at some point. They were in the round of 16 or the round of 12. As Estes only goes 6th fastest. Not good enough so far. We'll look at Elrich George as he rolls around in number 40 now. He's on track, as is Dustin Painter. And it looks like Feemster's completing his run. He just split the 2 top championship contenders so far in qualifying. Elrich George starting his first lap now.
Clayton, we talked about, well, we didn't talk about it, but we saw it in the Cup race. The 22 of Joe Logano kind of just like ran 100 laps out there in a bubble. It was almost like everybody around him, they're like, this guy's in the championship 4. We're not going to mess with him. I don't think you're going to see that in this race. I think those guys that are not in the championship 4, like you said, they want that what if. So they're going to be trying to win this race.
Oh, I don't doubt it. You think about, and we know the frustration that came from Martinsville last week. There was so much frustration, so much bad blood that came through it. Seth Wansing, obviously, he was one of the drivers that really needed a good Martinsville race, and it never came to him. Not through any fault of his own. He 100% has an axe to grind tonight. And he is sitting, again, he's going to be the first obstacle that, in his teammate, Jeremy Breo, right behind him, there's going to be some conflict there, because teammates out the window now. Like, it is all eyes forward tonight in the draft going on in January. All of it's going to change dramatically. Elrich George, good enough for P12 here, as now we see Jacob Blankenship for 1MA Racing, the regular season champion, the Saturday Night Showdown champion from last night, making his qualifying run. His teammate, Bryn Roberts, also on track. As we sit here and we watch one by one drivers taking laps on the board. One thing I've noticed, Wansing's still running. He's getting some extra practice in on his own while he's able to. Blankenship immediately 3rd on the board. That's a big lap for lap 1. Lap 2's faster. Can he make it stick? Bryn Roberts only 12th fastest. But Blankenship could go for pole. Really calm and collected through 3 and 4. Blankenship. Was it enough? It was not. 10th slower. Blankenship only 3rd fastest.
3rd fastest, and being 3rd fastest, that's a big deal between 3rd and 2nd, because I believe, and let me know if I'm wrong, Noah Belleville in the 1st place position, Tommy Reynolds qualified 2nd. They're going to automatically make it to the feature. The rest of these guys are going to have to deal with other guys on the track through the heats.
So this is the important thing to kind of denote. So that would have worked in the regular season. There are no heats in the playoffs. It is, these drivers are the drivers that where you qualify is where you stick. 100%, that would have changed everything had it still been in that format, because Blankenship could have easily fallen down the order if it had been the heat format. But where they qualify right now is where they're going to be starting, as Withers moved back to pit lane. Tom Sears, the last of the championship four to set a qualifying lap time. He's going to see where he starts here. But yeah, as we've seen through the playoffs, it is qualifying and then we jump straight to the race. There's no one gets a chance to breathe. You sit, you anticipate, and you have to jump in and fix if you did something wrong, or try to defend it if you have a good qualifying spot. Tom Sears, P5 for Lurkin Tom, trying to win a championship in all of the major stock car series and ARCS. He's got TNT under wraps. He's got race wins in the Saturday Night Showdown. He's got race wins here this season, one at Talladega. Looking to do that again here this evening in a squared competition. Second lap for him, also slower.
So we'll take one inexperienced point for Terry Gabbard on how this race is going to work. I can see it up there, practice, qualify, race. iRacing should have told me all that I needed to know, Clayton. I apologize for that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, even Jacob Blankenship, now we kind of talk about how these guys, he qualified third, which means he's going to start on the bottom behind Noah, and then we can talk about, what's going to be better here at this racetrack. Is it going to be a bottom line restart or a top line restart? Which side's going to prevail?
Donald Ray's second lap puts him P9. So 19 drivers are qualified. We'll see if Withers actually does make a run. Ryan Pinnell has elected not to run. Mark Deedler and Matthew Kent also get to run laps as well, as Withers kind of sits and waits with 2 minutes left to go in qualifying. Yeah, that is an interesting situation. Again, you have more experience here than I do. My experience here kind of begins and ends with the open wheel cars. Where do you prefer being? Do you prefer being on the inside lane on the start? Do you prefer being able to run down the dog lane? Do you like being up high?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends. I think the guys on the bottom, they're going to have the opportunity to kind of like run deep into that dog leg. But the restart, it really just matters in 1 and 2. Are you the kind of car that's going to be able to stick it on the bottom? Do you want to get up on the top and get the really nice run off of turn 2? It kind of just depends where your car is at, where you're comfortable with driving. And I think that one car that might start on the outside, if he loses the lead, the other car might start on the inside, and it just kind of depends. It's going to be really hard from a broadcast perspective when we come down with 4, 3, 2 to go. If we have a late race caution, to call which line's going to run, it's just going to matter which one of these cars have that car to run the line they want to run.
Qualifying down within a minute. Withers not going to make a run, so the 19 you see on the left side of your screen will be where they start. Belleville will take pole position. So Prophecy Racing and Team Sideswipe front row with Tommy Reynolds sitting in second. Jacob Blankenship, the pressure is on. He leads the championship 4 to green. He starts third this evening. For everyone tuning in, we appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with us here on ABN. That's a first. Again, I'm Clayton Hardy. Alongside me, Terry Gabbard. Briley Wright will be joining us here in a little bit to bring you more action from Phoenix Raceway. It's the championship finale for the Darkside Mustangs A-Squared Cup Series season, the pinnacle of ARCS stock car competition. Qualifying ends in 10 seconds, and we get ready to jump into this race. For everyone tuning in, we appreciate your support. John Smeal, we appreciate the follow on Twitch. It is greatly appreciated, but the pressure is about to amplify here in the desert. Qualifying's come to an end. The checkered flag is out. And now it's time to get ready for racing here in Phoenix. The starting grid, here's what it looks like for the last time. 36 races from February to November. Belleville will lead us to the green flag. It's Noah Belleville on the front row. Alongside him will be Tommy Reynolds in the number 7 for Team Sideswipe. Jacob Blankenship sits in row 2. Alongside will be Josh Gaiman. Tom Sears, Seth Wanzing in row 3, Jeremy Breo, Kevin Feemster in row 4. And as you can see, all the top four in the championship in the top 10. This is sort of where I get to ask you the hard question. Who do you think is going to win this race? And who do you think is going to win the championship here tonight, Terry? Because it's not going to, chances are it won't be the same person for both those answers. But who do you think's got it tonight, looking at how the season has gone?
Well, I think that you gotta love Noah Belleville. That dude has been on top in the last half of the season. He's racing his butt off, and I think that he just raced for the pole. He's going to start the pole. He's going to have control of this restart. You look at Tom Sears with all of the credentials that this guy has coming into this race. Jeremy Breo, like, I've seen this dude win races at tracks that he had no reason for understanding how he won the race. The guy just grinds. Jacob Blankenship, Toby Estes, these top 4 drivers, they're going to make some drama. They're going to make things happen. But do not expect that any of these drivers outside of the top 4 are not going to make it difficult. Toby Estes, Tommy Reynolds, Noah Belleville, these guys, they want to win this race, Clayton, and so they're going to do what they can, and they don't care whether they're in the top 4. I'm really excited to call this, and we're about to go green.
We're going to get a couple laps here as we get ready to go here at Phoenix. We're going to run through it. So here's Jacob Blankenship. We're right on board with him here for just a second. Jacob Blankenship, the number 85, Menards on board. He's looking for his first championship in this series. He's already got one last night in the Truck Series, the Saturday Night Showdown. Can he add another? Can he sweep the weekend? Tom Sears right behind him, sitting in 5th. Number 14, can he become one of ARC's greatest? He's missing one trophy in his cabinet, and it is the A-Squared Championship. Jeremy Breo sits behind him. He'll start 7th. Toby Estes, only championship runner starting on the outside lane. He starts 10th. A lot of work to do for the number 19 Toyota. It's 2 Toyotas, a Chevrolet. Actually, no, it's 2 Chevrolets, 2 Toyotas, and 2 Fords, excuse me. So no Chevrolets battling for the championship here this evening. But Estes has some work to do as we get ready to go. It's Belleville and Reynolds at the front of the field. The pace car is in. It's the long-anticipated wait. As we go down the back straightaway, they go green in the Geico restart zone. For the last time, 36 races, 36 weekends from February to November. The championship finale for the A-Square Cup Series season is underway. We're live at Phoenix.
The 41 on the bottom, the 85 on the bottom as well. These two guys are going to be racing for a championship, and they are racing for it right now, Clayton. You got 2 guys on the outside.
Whoa,
it looks like the 41 going to clear the field.
The caution's out. Caution's out.
Already a caution. Looks like the 2's involved as well. Thomas Andrews.
Yeah, Breo's in it.
Dustin Painter, 65, way low on the track. Not sure if he was involved in that issue as well, Clayton.
Yeah, we'll look back at it here.
Around the dog leg there.
There's Briley. Yeah, this is going to be interesting because one thing we've seen, the dog leg creates a lot of interesting scenarios where drivers can end up running out of space. Breo ended up being worse for wear from 7th to 14th. He's down 7 spots. We'll take a look at a replay here shortly as we get ready to see what happened here.
Yeah, it's very easy to lose track. It's very easy to lose track of where that car is on the outside. Whenever you dive down really low on that dog leg, you kind of lose visibility of where that guy is on the outside. Sometimes that can cause trouble if you go into 3 and 4 there.
Yeah, we'll take a look here. We'll look at the what happened here because it was Breo behind, but everything kind of just stacked up in advance. So we'll see what happened here. Oh, did Breo get help? That is the big question. So keep an eye on Breo. We're gonna See if we can highlight him here. We're actually pulling up the teleprompter here. So keep an eye on Breo. Breo in that number 74 in the center of your screen. As he ends up going towards the wall here. I believe he gets bumped. Oh. That very
like
awkward hit.
Looks like he got a little bit of contact from the thigh, and that's just what pushing kind of on the wall there.
We'll see if we can get another look at it here, because obviously he's already in the wall here. But we'll see if we're right on board with Donald Ray. Don't know if it was Donald Ray or not that got into him. Well, let's double check. So here's on board with Donald Ray. Nope, Donald Ray never touched him there.
You almost wonder if the brakes might have locked up there for a little bit, and it just turned him to the outside. It looked like he was trying to. It looked like he had a good run coming out of the dog leg, and almost made contact with Tom Sears and just had to get on the brakes hard.
Yeah, you see Dustin Painter got turned there by Breo. We'll go back to the initial start here for Breo and see what he saw. He's behind Tom Sears, so we'll see if his brakes did lock up here.
See, he has a big run coming right here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right on that. He does lock up a lot. Wow.
And that's very easy to do, especially at these short tracks like this, whenever you're trying to stay off of a guy. And
it also
ends up hurting you more than it does them.
Briley, it also looks like he was coming really close to the 14. Maybe he kind of hit those brakes a little bit harder because he was trying to not hit the 14. And he probably was also not aware that he was 3 wide. So that kind of like created the whole thing where bad things happen.
Yeah, it's going to put everyone in a bad spot early on. It's got Kevin Feemster already a lap down. Actually, already 2 laps down in this event. He sits down in 22nd. Rich George also affected. Thomas Andrews, James Kerr. A lot of drivers already affected early on. First caution already on the opening lap. But we rack them up and get ready to try it again. It's still Belleville Reynolds front row. Then it's Blankenship, Gaiman, Sears, and Donald Ray, the next 2 rows behind them. Let's try it again. With Belleville in the front row, he'll lead us to the green flag.
85 still on the bottom there. 14 going to be on the bottom too, Clayton.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to see if anyone. It's a race to the bottom, but nobody could really capitalize on Belleville there. Belleville clears the field as they go through 3 and 4. Here's a good view as everyone goes through turns 1 and 2. A lot cleaner that time.
The difference, Clayton, being that the 41 had full control on the restart there. He could start in the restart zone whenever he wanted. At the beginning of the race, the flag man, he had control of the restart, so the 41 able to get out to a nice lead. It looked like they're single file through the top 4 now.
A little bit of calm and security now is going to be what's needed as we see the championship duo of Sears and Blankenship side by side. Sears to the front of Blankenship here. Sears sitting in 4th, now leads the championship fight.
Oh, there's a big wreck down there.
Oh, there they are, and that is Mark Dila.
Right in front of Jeremy, too. It looks like he made it out safe.
I misidentified it. Dila's in 52. It's Jason Alexander in 53 who was spun around.
No, Belleville still hanging on to that first place position. He's being aided by these really quick cautions. Tommy Reynolds still in 2nd place. It looks like it's a 1-2 that has still been the same since the beginning of the race.
Yeah, those 2 got a really good restart, and it helped them out tremendously. We'll go back and see what happened here. So another quick caution in succession. And it looks like it was on the 53 of Alexander here. And here's what happened to him. Oh, Wanton got forced 3 wide. And that's Dustin Payne on the 65.
right in front of a championship contender too.
Yeah.
And what Jeremy has to do right now is just stay patient. He can't try to overdrive the car. He's just going to have to take some time, slowly get through the field. You don't want to put yourself in any kind of issues, and you definitely don't want to be around whenever this kind of stuff starts to happen in the race.
Yeah, we'll actually go on board with Briley here.
One thing that we want to remember, guys, is that, while we're calling a Championship 4 race, we should probably keep track of the fact that these guys do get one fast repair. According to my records, maybe it's possible the 74. I'm kind of looking at his car right now, trying to make sure. It looks like he has used one of that one fast repair, and so the 74 of Jeremy Briley is out of those. He will not get any additional cars for this race, and so those top 3 guys that are out there, they're at an advantage because they haven't used that yet.
Yeah, obviously being at a disadvantage if you have to use your fast repair so early, the number of people that have had to use it has instantly climbed through these first several laps. We're 10 laps in. You look at Alexander, you look at James Kerr, Tommy Withers, Dustin Painter, Seth Wanzing, Kevin Feemster, Jeremy Briley, Elrich George. A lot of drivers have already had to come down pit lanes for repairs. For Briley, it is now a game of cat and mouse. Now he can't be as aggressive. Otherwise, he could find himself out of championship contention early. Still a lot of time. He can still bring it back. But number 74 has to keep that nose clean now from now until at least stage 3.
Tom Sears running in 4th position. He is going to lead the Championship 4 contenders right now. Jacob Blankenship in 5th place. Looks like Toby Estes running 7th. Jeremy Briley all the way back in 13th. Jeremy Briley has some room to climb out of, and he's out of new cars, and so we already have some drama very, very early in this race.
And sometimes using that fast repair early, which it is quite early, it doesn't necessarily hurt you too bad because it changes the way that you race. And if you can just stay focused and in the pocket, and you know that you don't have that safety net of that fast repair, sometimes it'll give you a little bit more patience, a little bit more leniency, and you won't make those moves that might put you in any kind of trouble. And it'll be interesting to see if he can get back up there and what he can do in the rest of this race, knowing that he doesn't have that anymore.
And Clayton, we talk about being in the pocket. Briley just alluded to that. What a great thing to say, because we're at a short track for the most part, and these guys, they have to be in the pocket, they have to be in their rhythm. When you get out of your rhythm, you're going to lose a lot of time. Green flag coming up right now, Clinton.
It's so hard to get into a rhythm to begin with how this race has started. The championship contenders, they just got to keep their heads down and try to stay clear of it. Green flag back in the air. Belleville, another really good start. Sears first one to go to the dog leg. See if he can gain some position. He already got Tommy Reynolds. He actually takes second away. Really good launch. Belleville went right to the wall, trying to make something work here for the 41. Trying to use a lane that no one else is using right now.
Looks like the top 5, top 6 are going to be single file now. The more that we can get single file in this race, Clayton, the more we can have some green flag racing. I'm sure Tommy Reynolds probably wants to get up there and try to make a move. Tom Sears already up into the 2nd place position. He's going to be trying to make a move for the lead.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job so far. See if they can space themselves out a little bit. Once they can get a little bit of space and let the race sort of ebb and flow, it's a lot easier. A lot of anxiety and chills the driver's experiencing for the last time this season. All 22 cars that started this race still rolling. Kevin Feemster, the only car a lap down at the moment.
We go back through the top 12.
Whoa, that's Estes. Estes in trouble. That's Davey Houck was outside. Braille right there. That's trouble. That's Sean Smale that's turned around backwards.
Maybe one car. Maybe we stay green. Oh, yellow flag is out.
Yeah, yellow flag came out. He spun in front of the field there. Not really much of a choice but to throw the yellow. But the stack up there from Toby Estes tagging the inside wall. We'll have to go back and take a look at that, because he almost smacked the wall a ton. That could have been way, way, way worse. So we'll go back and look at it.
The 41 trying so hard, Clayton, to get away from this field. And we just keep throwing a caution. I could just imagine that driver in the car saying, oh my gosh, I just want to run away.
Yeah, we'll see here, because there's John Smeal. Toby. So it looks like this is... We're going to go through the last lap or so to try to figure out what happened to Toby Estes, because he's the one that kind of stacks all of this up.
He's working on the 44 there, trying to get around him.
Yeah. Got Toby, goes to the bottom. Oh, yeah, he got hip checked by Smeal.
Smeal tagged the wall and then got into the 19.
Yeah. Oh, and there's, oh, that's netcode to the max. That's Mark Dila that got into John Smeal. But that was full-on netcode. I believe that may have been Wanzing. It was Wanzing. Wanzing on the bottom there. We'll have to jump to the 9 real quick, see if we can get his onboard. But that was Seth Wanzing on the inside lane. You see the contact, the 52 on the outside. Doesn't even make contact with him, but latency says otherwise. That's rough. So John Smeal coming out of pit lane. There's the race leader, Noah Belleville. He's led every lap so far. $18 laps in. First stage ends on lap 40. So the more laps shaved by caution, the more this becomes a sprint to the end of stage 1. Again, stages at this point in the season irrelevant. For the top 4 in the championship, marked in the silver and black, it is all about where you finish. Right now, Tom Sears has the advantage. It's second place for Sears. Blankenship, the Saturday Night Showdown champion from last night, sits 6th. Estes and Breo sitting 9th and 10th at the very tail end of this top 10. Tom Sears looking for his first championship in this series. Two-time TNT champion, runner-up in Indy ARCS this season. One position away from being in the best spot imaginable to try to lock a championship up tonight. But he's got a really tough competitor in Noah Belleville to fight against. Everyone using the choose cone. Drivers, where do you want to be on this one?
Wherever you want to be. We talked about pre-race. Wherever your car is functional. The 41 continues to want to be on the bottom. The 14 choosing to take the bottom as well. We talk about the number 14, Briley. We can't talk enough about this guy. This dude working on his first A-squared championship, but his third ARCS championship. Green flag getting ready to go right now.
Yeah, he's sitting in the best position right now, and if you're those guys, if you're Toby or if you're Jeremy, you just want to don't let this discourage you right now. We've had these cautions, and now you're sitting in the back of the field. Just got to take some time, get your composure back, especially if you're Toby and you've just been in that incident. Haven't seen any problems with the 14 or with Blankenship, so let's just see how it shakes out.
Green flag back in the air. Sears went way lower on the track than anyone's been really comfortable with doing. A couple people in the Twitch chat said, hey, this dogleg's not the easiest with how this setup has been, how these cars handle it. The flat floors have definitely become more of a concern as of late. Sears still sits in second behind Belleville. Reynolds in third, Game in fourth. Donald Ray rounds out the top 5. But behind them, as you see Donald Ray battling with, that is Toby Estes. Estes on the charge from 10th up to 5th, up 5 spots on the restart. Really good run by him. Whoa! There's trouble in the back. That's Ryan Pinnell, Kevin Feemster, and that is Tommy Withers. Still backwards sitting on the track.
Is that green flag still out?
Yeah, green flag stays out. That is a precarious situation, but he's still running. No one's called a caution. We stay green.
Second, Toby Estes running fifth, trying to get up to him. The 41, trying to just keep pace. The 14, trying to just keep pace with that leader, the 41. It's been all Noah Belleville so far, but I mean, Briley, you're sitting there. You're the 14. How important is it for you to pass the 41?
It's not important right now. You're sitting in front of all these other guys that you're racing against. You don't even care about the 41 right now. The only people that you're worrying about is where's Toby, where's Jeremy, and where's Jacob Blankenship. You do not push it right here. You don't try to catch that 41 car. All you worry about is staying ahead of those other playoff contenders.
Yeah, and like he said, Clayton, it's really easy when you're in this championship 4 because you're literally just racing.
Whoa, caution's out.
All these guys.
Whoa, big time trouble. Wanzing, that is James Kerr. That's Donald Ray involved. We were about to talk about, because as does Blankenship and Breo, we're all lined up 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then a wreck happens here. This one does cause the caution. Donald Ray involved, James Kerr and Tommy Withers all apart. Well, Withers, I think, was behind it. But Kerr involved, and he's going to come down pit lane. Not a good run of form so far. Fourth caution of the night for a pretty substantial caution here. We'll take a look at what happened. So Donald Ray in the 5. We'll see where James Kerr is. James Kerr is, I think, further behind. So something happens to Donald Ray here. There's Bryn Roberts in the 58. Is there contact between these two? And, a little bit, but not by Bryn Roberts' fault. Bryn Roberts is the one that got spun around. He's the one that got hit by... That was James Kerr.
And just what I had brought up earlier, sometimes it's hard to tell where people are going to go in that dog leg. I'm sure Jacket thought for sure that Bryn Roberts was going to try to dive down to the bottom of that dog leg, and that's where Donald was thinking the same thing. That's where he was going to go, and didn't know that that 53 car was on the inside of him, and you just see that stuff happening.
Yeah, that is a very unfortunate situation, and we'll do something pretty interesting here. We'll go and do the see if we can do the cockpit cam for Donald Ray. Here's what he sees. He can only see so much inside the cockpit of this car. He goes to the high side, Roberts goes low, and he can't see him anymore until he's there. The blind side in this car is substantial. And Terry, you should know this. Like, it doesn't matter if it's plate racing, doesn't matter if it's short ovals. Once a car's in your blind side, you just have to hope that someone calls out where they are.
Yeah, well, Briley, you've raced in car for a number of years, so you understand what it's like when somebody's not telling you where you're at. Like, you just don't know.
Here's James Kerr on board, and he tried shooting the gap that just kept closing, and unfortunately, nothing he could do there. As we get ready to go back at it, it's Belleville. Reynolds once again on the outside. Tom Sears elected to stay on the bottom lane. So, fighting's going to continue. It's fourth verse, same as the first. Oh boy.
It's going to be a big restart here. Just the number of laps for the end of the stage. It's been all 41 so far. He's going to have full control like he's had this whole race. Look for him to kind of get out in front once again.
Yeah, it's a matter of the battle's, I think, really going to be between Reynolds and Sears. See if Reynolds can get a better restart here. He did. Oh, Sears got a bad restart. You watch that car bog down significantly. Belleville's going to clear, but they fan out behind. as they get ready to enter turns 1 and 2. Keep an eye on that 61 at Gaiman. Trying to put it 3 wide with Reynolds and Sears. Won't do it, but Sears will lose a spot, at least one. All 4 championship contenders right here, center of your screen.
85 trying really hard. He's in a battle on the outside, the 14, in a battle with the number 64. And so these guys doing all that they can to make up those positions. And we can talk about this, Briley, and we probably should. How important is it right now to make up a bunch of positions? Does it really matter? Like, really, we're racing for 30 to go, right?
Well, right now, if you're Toby and you're Jeremy, you're getting a little bit more confidence back. You ran back to the field. You've had your issues. Now you see Tom Sears. That's the guy that you're wanting to get in front of right now. So you just got to stay patient and just make your moves when it's the right time to make the moves. Right now, they're just stuck in this situation to where if they make a move, they're going to be 3 wide. Now they just have to ride and just wait it out. You don't want to be too aggressive right now. It's not the end of the race. You don't want to put yourself in a bad spot, and you do not want to wreck any of the other playoff guys.
I'll kind of interject and I'll ask this question because both of you will probably have different answers here. When is the right time to go? Obviously, it's not stage 1. We're 10 to go in stage 1 as we run more with Blankenship. But when is that right time to go?
I think right now you're just trying to figure out what you have. Am I going to be able to save enough tires? Am I going to have long run speed? Am I going to have short run speed? If you know that you have long run speed, you want to get out there and you want to get it as far ahead as possible. If you have short run speed, then you know you're going to have to try to manage those tires. That way you can be around those other guys, those other playoff contenders, in case they make a mistake, and you'll be able to be there to pounce on it.
The 14, the 74, side by side right now, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
This was the race for the title. These guys, they don't care, Briley. They don't care if it's 150 to go or 10 to go. They're racing hard.
And right now they're letting that 19 get out to a big lead, stand side by side and racing like this.
Breo chasing him down as well. Breo and Estes, they were the bottom 2 of the championship 4 just 15 laps ago. Now they're the leading duo as they've passed Sears and Blankenship by. These two, they've been class of the field so many times this season. And now they're leading this group, trying to get back to Belleville and Reynolds, who kind of stepped away a little bit. They've got a second and 3/10 of a gap between these groups.
Yeah, how nice is that? Like, you're not in the championship 4, but you're Noah and you're Tommy, and you're sitting out there. They're like, we're 1-2, but these guys don't care about us. We can just do what we want to do. These guys are worried about each other. Toby Estes, Jeremy Briel, Tom Sears are running 3, 4, and 5. Jacob Blankenship still in 7th, but that's not really nothing. These cars are really packed up right now.
And that 74 looks like he's got a little bit better drive off coming out of the corners right here. Let's see if he makes a move here soon. He's gaining on that 19, but just not a whole lot all at once. He's looking like he's wanting to make a move to the inside, but just can't quite get there right now.
Fortunately, he's got time to figure it out. Again, we're approaching the end of stage 1. Still 2 stages left in this contest. He's very much more confident of using that apron than what Toby Estes is. Estes using the outside lane a lot more. But Breo has a lot of early running pace at the moment. Keep in mind, Breo had to pit for damage. He had to pit for tires. And Toby's not pit yet. Does that make a difference this early on?
I'm sure that makes a huge difference right now. But it looks like Toby he's looking like he's getting a little bit better drive off. The outside, especially right there in 3 and 4, it looks like that's the place to be because once you're so low, you can't get that runoff to stay side by side with that car because the car wants to get loose. So it looks like he's kind of just considering falling in behind this 19, finishing the stage, and living to race another lap.
The 74 with a really nice run there off of 3 and 4. He's going to come into 1 and 2. And only a couple car lengths behind the 19. This is the battle for the championship right now as it stands, Clayton.
Yeah, right now, Toby Estes is favored. We touched on it a little bit in the pre-race. It is difficult to pass here. It is a flat, shorter oval. We expected a lot more elbows out racing. I guess further behind it has been, but we expected the championship contenders to be a little bit more elbows out. But a lot of respect between these top 4 as we approach 2 to go in stage number 1. They've reeled Tommy Reynolds back in, but Noah Belleville has checked out. Belleville 2 seconds ahead of the championship leaders as they currently sit. It is Estes in 3rd, Breo 4th, Blankenship in 5th. Tom Sears, who had the early advantage, has dropped down to 7th. But again, stages for these 4 do not matter. It's just where you finish. They've got time to dial it all in. Last lap of stage 1 underway. And it's all in the hands of Noah Belleville entering turns 1 and 2 here. He can coast, he can cruise. That's kind of what he's doing right now. He's not taking it too awful hard. He knows he's got that advantage he can kind of use here. Going through 3 and 4. Noah Belleville will win stage 1. 2-time race winner. Looking really sharp early on here at Phoenix.
Yeah, Noah Belleville looking good. Tommy Reynolds going to finish 2nd. Toby Estes 3rd. Jerry Brialt, Jacob Blankenship. That's going to make up your top 5. Tom Sears on the outside looking in 7th. And that, he's had a stage. Tom Sears started in 3rd, has kind of like ran around. Obviously, Noah Belleville and Tommy Reynolds so dominant in this race, but these championship 4 drivers, they're around each other. They know that they exist, Briley. They are racing hard.
It'll be interesting to see if one of them can, because you want to go out there and win the race. You don't want to be, you don't necessarily want to be racing these guys for 3rd place. All these guys want to get up there and win. And that's when, when do you start seeing their aggression start coming out? When do they start getting aggressive? Especially if we have late race restarts at the end. How aggressive do you get on those restarts? Because you don't want to finish 2nd. You definitely want to finish 1st. That way you know for sure that all those guys are behind you.
Everyone,
yeah, race.
Go ahead.
Yeah, late race restarts could definitely be a thing. Right now, all these drivers down pit road. What adjustments do you make, guys? The 7, the 41, they're beating your lights off. But when you look at these 4 championship drivers, where it really matters, they're kind of really even. So who you racing for? You racing for the win? You're racing to survive and win a title.
Right now, you're racing to survive. Right now, it's the racing to win isn't necessarily what you're doing right now. That's going to come towards the end of the race. Right now, all these guys, I think they're just staying patient. They're wanting to just get to the end of the race. Can't win the race if your car is in pit road. That's for sure.
I think it's something that it kind of has to kind of be said a lot. Like, Tom Sears was always so strong, pulling the whole stage heroics, the fuel saving, the strategizing. That's how Tom Sears got a lot of those stage wins earlier in the season. He can't rely on that now. And that is a completely different shift to what we've seen of him, especially as of the last 3 months. The fact that he's still hanging in there with Breo and Blankenship and Estes, despite having to change his entire formula on the fly, he's definitely not someone you can count out in any way, shape, or form. One thing I want to look at, one thing we'll kind of see what he does here. He picked the inside lane because he was 2nd in line on the bottom. Like, he had free reign of where he wanted to be. He doesn't have it anymore. He's restarting in 8th, it looks like, or could be 8th. I want to see where he goes from here. Does he take the outside lane? Does he stay to the bottom? Let's see what he can make being this far behind. And see if he can make up some ground and try to pull up an early restart here in stage 2.
As these drivers decide to pick their lanes, I want to give the fans some nostalgia. A Squared kind of really started about 3 years ago. This is a culmination on iRacing of a lot of hard work. The first season of A Squared on iRacing is going to finish here tonight. And we're 3 years going. Started with 12 or 13 guys. Now we're up to like 210 drivers in the Discord. Guys that want to race. ARCS Racing, A Squared, TNT, Saturday Night Showdown. All those things, they've kind of culminated into what we have right here. It's really exciting to see these drivers put it all on the line right now. This is really important, Clayton, to these drivers, and it's only important because of what these admins have built. A shout out to Ryan Pinnell. Shout out to Tom Sears. Shout out to Thomas, who have done their hardest work ever here to make this what it is. I'm really excited to see the end of this race happen, and to see a culmination of all of everybody's hard work.
The heart rate doesn't stop just yet.
And Tom Sears both picked the outside. That's going to be interesting. It's looking like it's a lot easier to pass maybe on the outside and to settle in on the outside. I think once you're on the inside, you're kind of buried there until it starts opening up and the field starts spreading out.
Well, the inside has the ability to kind of choose where they want to be on track. The outside lane just has to adjust. Wanzing took that restart, had a really good pit stop, only took a 2-tire stop. We'll see how that works for him, but he's kind of just winging it here. He got nothing to lose. Ahead of Belleville and Reynolds.
Had a bad restart too. He's hanging out in the back there.
Yeah, he's sitting in 9th. Not a good restart for him.
It looks like he might be losing a spot.
He could. Yeah, he was left very vulnerable there by by Fetter Place. Alexander behind him. Fetter Place in the 80. And that Toyota on the bottom there, up to 8th. Blankenship didn't have a great restart either, but it is a gaggle of cars outside the top 2. Belleville's cleared Wanzing. Back to the front for the 41. Wanzing on that 2-tire stop may not have been the smartest idea. I think he was banking on another early caution, but it may backfire big time for the 9 as he falls further backwards.
The 41 had his biggest challenge just now with the 9 of Seth Wanzing, but as you see the 9 fall back, now we see the 74 of Jeremy Briel.
Yeah.
We talked about it being early. We talked about how he was surely to come back now in 2nd place and leading these championship 4. Toby Estes running in 6th, Jacob Blankenship 7th, Tom Sears all the way back in 9th. Jeremy Briel doing a very good job early in this race.
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job. Caution is out, and it's for John Smeal. John Smeal has brought out another caution here this evening. We'll see what happened here. He was turned by Seth Wanzing and Mark Dila before. See if he got turned around again. There's John Smeal, bottom of your screen ahead of the blue car of Davey Halleck. Oh, lost it big time, and that was off of Blankenship. I believe that was off. No, I mean, it was off of. It was off of Pinnell. Yeah, Pinnell's in the blue and yellow. Blanchard's in the black and yellow. Good call.
Ooh, heavy damage on the nose of that 12 car.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at it from his perspective here, because he took a hard hit.
And Smith just looks like he dove inside and just drove right into that wall.
Yeah, so random. I don't understand what happened to Jonathan Spiel. I was thinking that it was a glitch in my iRacing replay, but...
Yeah, just misjudged that one by a lot. Let's see what happens in the replay.
Oh, he lost it.
Yeah, it looked like he got loose.
Well, we saw that. We saw that with another driver here in this dog leg. It's like these cars are like randomly getting loose right there in the dog leg. Like you think you can run that full throttle. And maybe it comes to a feeling where maybe like in some situations you need to let off. That's really odd to me that a driver, the second driver that I've seen tonight, would lose it right there in that same spot.
Yeah, a couple people mentioned in the Twitch chat that the dog leg was not going to be super fun for these drivers tonight with these flat-bottomed cars. It's not as flexible as what the older generation cars used to be here. You have to be a little bit careful on where you use that dog leg and when you hit that transition. Sears hit it, not Sears, Smeal hit it right at the peak of that transition, where the change in the banking was the most dramatic, and obviously that was the side effect of it. But it's put Belleville back in front. It's given Wanzing a chance to maybe correct his strategy call. He elected not to. He stayed out here. So he's going to have even more trouble now. The only solace is that stage 2 ends on lap 80, so if he can hold on to lap 80, then he might still have a spare set of tires left in the bank for later in this race.
Yeah, even the 41, Noah Belleville, in the chat earlier today, he was not happy with the setup. He felt like the car was really loose in the dogleg. And even as he leads this race, it looks like something in practice helped him to understand how the car was going to react that maybe some of these guys didn't see happening. People really, I don't know. It's kind of weird that the race is kind of being decided by the dogleg right now early in this race. Only 52 laps in, still over 100 laps to go, Clayton. This track is already presenting problems to these drivers.
And the problems are not going to get any easier as they use the choose cone here.
I hear an engine dying. I don't know where I heard that from, but somebody's engine just blew up. We need to probably
we're looking at that Jason Alexander, it looks like. We'll go back and look at it, but it looks like it was Jason Alexander. What happened to him?
Shout out to Matt Kent running race control tonight. The unsung heroes of ARCS Racing. Matt Kent doing a great job of keeping these guys straight up, making sure that they don't get into danger when a caution flies.
Yeah, not sure what happened. I'm not seeing... Because Jason Alexander's the one that came to a stop. He's the only one that is elected to retire here. Brendan Roberts, his race done early. Time at 7 with Calvin Feemsters, and now Jason Alexander, his race is over. As we get ready to go once again.
Green flag approaching, the 41 going to take the bottom. Jeremy Briel going to be on the outside. Is it going to be an advantage or a disadvantage? Toby
We're going to find
right
out.
Behind him.
Outside line just stacked up big time. It's going to cost them all kinds of momentum.
All night, it's been that way. The inside lane's been where you wanted to be. But Belleville actually left the door open for Reynolds. Reynolds, this is his best chance to take the race lead. Caution's back out. And it's Ryan Pinnell spun around.
The 74 and the 19, they were on even playing field right now. The 74 had the best of the 19, the 85 and the 14, both side by side. It looks like your championship for 4 run 3, 4, 5, 6 as they stand. It's getting really good here at Phoenix, Clayton.
It looks like the 6 car got into the... Looks like he got into Smeal, I think is who that is.
It was Smeal. It was the 40 Hours George that kind of squeezed him up. And then Mark Dila just kind of hip-checked Ryan Pinnell, trying to avoid whatever checker was happening. And it sent everyone backwards there a little bit.
Caution flag will fly yet again. 55 laps into this race, Briley. They're approaching about 100 to go. Do you get? I mean, these guys are a little stacked up. Is there anybody further in the field that maybe says, "I want to make a run"? Is it time to make a run?
Well, I think right now it's hard for these playoff guys to really get set and get into a rhythm with all these cautions that keep happening. I think we're going to have to just let everybody needs to calm down here just a little bit. It seems like there's not a lot of room that's being given. People are bouncing off of each other. It seems like it's kind of messing the racing up right now. The pace of the race is really messed up. It's hard to stay focused and get into a rhythm when there's these constant cautions that keep coming out. And the cautions breed cautions. They're being so aggressive right here on these restarts. They need to just settle in here and try to get to the end of the race before they start making these moves.
Clayton, we're 56 laps into this race. We've seen the 14 lead the championship 4, the 19 lead the championship 4, the 74 as well. Jacob Blankenship, not quite sure if the 85 has led the championship 4, but definitely in contention, running 3, 4, 5, 6. Does it change how your brain works when you're like, do I need to make an adjustment when we're this close? I'm not racing for a win if I don't have to. I might just be racing for third. And maybe these guys are racing for third. What do you do here?
It's so difficult having seen Jacob Blankenship, having seen Tom Sears and Jeremy Bray, because they raced in Indy ARCS on Wednesday nights this year, it's so hard to figure out where you need to be when you haven't had a chance to figure out what your car is doing. You haven't had that long run yet. But for Blankenship, for Breo, all of these drivers are race winners for a reason. They are in this top 4 for a reason. They can figure it out. They just need that time and space to figure it out. Rick James in the Twitch chat, everyone marked in silver, the championship contenders. That's the championship 4. Everyone in red, just looking to play spoiler. But everyone in the championship contenders, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's Breo, Estes, Blankenship, and Sears. As we see the choose cone being used here. Breo on the inside.
19, the only championship guy that chose the outside there.
Yeah, he chose the outside. Everyone else went inside. For everyone new tuning in, I'm Clayton Hardy. Alongside me, Terry Gabbard and Briley Wright, bringing you the season finale. Again, everyone in the silver and black on the leaderboard are the championship contenders. There's 4 of them. The others in the red and white, looking to play spoiler, looking to end off their season on a high note. It's Belleville and Reynolds at the front of the field. Then it's Breo and Estes row 2, Fetter Place, Blankenship row 3, Gaiman and Sears row 4, as we get ready to go racing once more in stage 2.
41 going to have control of the restart. It looks like 3 cars on the bottom. Blankenship going to be the only one on the outside. But 41 going to have full control. It looks like he has a good restart. The 7 has a decent restart as well. Jeremy Briel looking to lead this championship 4 down into turn 1.
He did a really good job on that restart. Estes did a really good job as well. He abandoned Tommy Reynolds at the first convenience without losing too much.
Like he's going to be stuck in a battle with Tommy Reynolds here. How long do you try to keep racing this guy? Do you try to fall in behind him, or do you just do everything you can to get around him?
Breo's going for the race lead here. Estes should get clear of Reynolds here pretty easily. And he actually does clear him there through 1 and 2. So he's calling that 3 and 4 to the older days. Watch out, Toby! Watch out, Toby. He held on to it, but he's going to lose spots. He's down to 6th.
Did a great job of holding on to it right there, because it is almost impossible to save a car once it gets loose right there. Amazing job by the 19 of Toby Estes.
Yeah, he back to 6th.
Yeah, he fell down pretty hard, but it could have been a lot worse for him. Really good recovery there, but he's now got work to do, as that is both Blankenship and Fetter Place in front of him. Blankenship 5 race wins. Fetter Place the win at Watkins Glen back in August. So Fetter Place looking to make his mark before going full-time in this series next season. One of the dark horses.
For the win, the 74, the 41. 74 on the bottom. 41 going to take the outside. We'll expect he gets the run off, but look how close the 74 has
Breo's
gotten.
on it.
Yeah, Clayton, I think this is going to be the 41's biggest shot right now. Does the 41 want to run a bunch of tires off to fight with the 74, or do you just let him go right now?
It's a bit different. There's a different mentality here. For Breo, again, he's not really battling for stage points. It's all about where you finish. But having that time out in front, being able to control the restarts, he knows how powerful that is and how difficult it has been to get these green flag runs in, as we're kind of starting to work on one now.
He's going to have a shot at clearing right here in this next turn.
Oh
yeah, going down the front straightaway.
Momentum up on the inside. He takes the dog leg.
I'd be so nervous right now. 74 going to clear the 41. He's going to take the lead, but man, that side-by-side stuff with all that stuff and
Right, it's very difficult, and obviously these two respect each other a lot. They race each other a fair amount across all of ARC's major series. But Breo takes the lead here. Very important for him, as caution is out once more. And it is for Withers, who has been completely backwards in the number 6.
Oh, and this is big. Briley, the 74 is going to be in control of this restart. This is going to be the first time this race that the 41 hasn't been in control of the restart. This is going to get really intense. What's the 41 going to do?
Looking at the restart here, looking at the cause of the caution here, so Withers had an issue coming out of the corner, out of turn 2, but that was after Donald Ray had an equally scary accident, clipped the yellow line, and obviously you see Withers tried to save it, got tagged by Elrich George in the 40. Haven't said his name too awful much tonight. But Withers ended up completely backwards, causing the 8th caution of the night. That's where it all came from, and it came at a really good time for Breo as he sits at the front of the field. As you mentioned, now it is really game on for Breo, and he's got the ability to now do a lot more damage at the front of the field compared to where his championship rivals are in Breo and Blankenship, or Blankenship, Estes, and Sears.
Bradley, 66 laps into this race. We're looking about 86 to go or so. Stage 2, not yet completed, so we know we're going to get another guaranteed caution. The 74 now in the lead. Like we talked about earlier, this is the first time the 41 not going to be in control of the restart.
Yeah, it's going to be key. Just being able to be up front. You know that Jeremy wants to be up there right now. He wants to be able to have all that clean space in front of him. If he can just get these restarts nailed down and get out to a big lead, he'll be sitting in a he'll be sitting in a comfortable spot, exactly where he wants to be. You don't have to worry about any other cars. But can he get ground on that 41 and take off? Because he definitely doesn't want to have to keep racing him aggressively right now.
It is even more... the more these cautions kind of sink in, the worse it gets. As, like, you kind of let, like... you kind of let your body kind of get back in check. You kind of relax. You're not on the wheel so awful hard. But it gets harder to do that every single restart. You start over-analyzing, overthinking. Both of you have been in this position where it's like, okay, when does it end? How do you keep yourself in check when the pressure just keeps building and building and building in races like this? How do you keep yourself mentally from overthinking it?
Here's what bothers me. Sorry, Briley, I'm going to say. Here's what bothers me. When you have caution after caution after caution, it's like, if I pit now, I'm going to have good tires. But if I pit now, and then in like 4 laps, we're going to have another caution, and 4 laps, we're going to have another caution, you're going to have guys behind you that are going to even have better tires than you. So it really messes with you when you don't know if we're going to run 4 laps with a caution, 10 laps with a caution, 20 laps, Briley. That really is what messes with me the most. You're going to have 4 championship drivers on the bottom.
The biggest thing for me is just falling out of rhythm. Once those cautions keep falling like that, you're not making the laps that you want to be making anymore. You're going around through there going slow. It's easy to lose your focus when that happens. And then you have to keep resetting yourself and falling back into the groove again and trying to get back and get focused again. It's pretty annoying as a driver when you have all these cautions, and it makes you worry too. Like, could I be in the next one?
Well, we're gonna figure it out here.
Bottom,
yeah, this is a first. We haven't seen this all race, but now they're nose to tail. Breo on the charge. Green flag back in the air. 12 to go in stage 2.
Blankenship did not get the restart that he wanted. He lost a little bit of time right there.
Yeah, Estes got a good restart, but nowhere to go with it. And Sears had a decent restart, serviceable enough to where he's not going to lose ground. But now the question is, can they get through these last 12 laps to get to the end of stage 2?
And now the 85, we talked earlier that he hasn't done it yet. This lap, he is going to lead the championship 4. What a race that we have, you guys. These guys are all in contention to win this race. The 41 running in second behind the 74. 41 running a higher line than the 74. And we talked about that, Briley. In 1 and 2, there's multiple lines that you can run. And it kind of changes how this race can be ran, because in 1 and 2, you can run so many different lines.
It's not looking like Noah's putting up a big fight right now. Jeremy's just driving away right now. And if you're Blankenship sitting there in third, you want to start doing everything you can to start reeling those guys in, because right now they're leaving you and you're starting to lose a little bit of confidence right now, especially if you're the 19 to Toby and Tom Sears. It's looking like it is all Jeremy Brialt right now.
Yeah, right now, Jeremy's got a really good advantage. Belleville in between. You see Blankenship there sitting in, battling for third. Actually getting passed for third by Reynolds. Reynolds made that look easy. Coming down to the end of the stage, it's still anyone's game by and far, but Breo now on the receiving end.
Run.
Yeah. Seeing it right here.
Big run off of 3 and 4, a ginormous run. And now what he does in 1 and 2, he might get side by side with him by the end of this turn. The 74 staying low. Looks like the 41 going to go middle to low. He's not going to get as big as run as he had. But these guys racing hard still. Tommy Reynolds running the 3rd position. Jacob Blankenship 4th.
Battling for 4th.
Estes 5th and 6th is your championship 4.
Yeah, that's not a clear-cut battle for 3rd and 4th or for 4th and 5th. Estes trying to get clear of him here. Estes actually will get clear. Slides right in front of Blankenship. And there's Tom Sears lurking around. He's not done with this yet, sitting in 6th place. Breo's lost the race lead to Belleville.
Big race for the lead right here. It looks like the 74 got loose on the bottom. Noah Belleville going to take advantage. Tommy Reynolds trying to take the 74 as well.
They'll do it here. Just a matter if they can make it stick with 6 laps to go in the stage.
And here comes the 19. He's making a charge. He's got Brialt in his sights. He knows that he's got to get around him. He wants to be in front of him. Let's see how aggressive he gets.
It's going to be an interesting last 5 laps of stage 2. But they're racing it out hard. Breo falling closer to the clutches of Toby Estes. Blankenship and Sears all in tow. The championship 4, they're right where you expect them to be. Battling with each other. Battling it out for ARC's top stock car championship prize here this evening.
And what does this do for your confidence if you do finish this stage in front of all those other guys that you know that you're racing for the championship? It's got to help you out going into that last stage if you can keep constantly finishing in front of these guys.
It means a lot, and I'll kind of jump in here because both the drivers in front, Belleville and Reynolds, there is a story for them. Obviously, Belleville didn't get to race the full season this season, but 2 race wins, 7 podiums. There's a lot in that story in that 41 car. He's done a phenomenal job as Toby now fighting with Jacob Blankenship there. Tommy Reynolds was in this chase. He was in the round of 16, and medical illness took him out of it. And it's all about, for Reynolds, it's about reclaiming all of that lost time. Because he was safe. And unfortunately, an illness took him out several races and prevented him from doing anything substantial. To be at this point here, knowing that he could have been battling for the championship here, which would have been his first in ARCS. That is it's a monumental what if, but for Reynolds going into next season, that is a big, I think, confidence boost for him, knowing that, hey, it's not just a fluke that I won Sonoma. It's not just, I barely got to the round of 16. It's, hey, I have the pace to be here. If I can get the situation to go right next year, 100%, watch out for me come Phoenix. So he's got a lot to look forward to, but right now it's still far and away the Noah Belleville show, back to the front for the 41 by 6/10. He's doing a phenomenal job.
Is making a move on the 19. He tried to get to the bottom.
Breo trying to put himself a little bit more of a gap between himself and the rest of the championship contenders.
Just does not have that momentum coming out of the turn, but he's going to have another shot at it coming to the end of the stage.
Yeah, coming to the checkered flag for stage 2. It is Belleville that wins the stage. Stage 2 belongs to him here. And then you have Reynolds, Breo, Estes, Blankenship, and Sears.
Yeah, we talk about the credentials of these drivers coming into the race. The 41, Noah Belleville, no stranger to championships in ARCS. Noah Belleville coming from who we like to call and have always called Moldy Muskrat. has done all kinds of things. Has been with us for a really, really long time. And here's a guy that said, "Oh, I want to come play. I'll buy this here computer thingy." And what is he going to use? His controller. The Noah Belleville, he is the only driver in the field guaranteed to be using an Xbox controller to run Briley like we used to do when we first bought our Xbox and we're running on NASCAR Heat. It really is a good shout out to see a guy that, he just wanted to race with us. ARCS has been around for a long time, and we have a lot of guys that just really want to race ARCS, and Noah Belleville being one of them. Good to see him out there dominating this field.
Hey, whatever works, right? And it looks like it's working for him right now. Let's see how everything shakes up at the end of this race. I'm thinking that you're not seeing a lot of these playoff guys get as aggressive with Noah as what they probably could be. They're looking like they're staying close with them. Noah's not. I mean, he's getting out there to a big lead and getting gone there. He's done it a couple times, but you saw Jeremy was able to keep up pace with him for a while, and he didn't really put up much of a fight whenever Noah started to try to get back up there and get around him. So I don't know if he might have started backing off there. If maybe he pushed his tires a little too much. But right now, you're not seeing too much aggressive or too many aggressive moves for the lead. And I think that you will start seeing that, especially with these playoff drivers trying to get around them coming to the end of this race.
Clayton, the 74 able to make it past the 85 on pit road. So it looks like the 74 of Jeremy Briley back in the lead of this championship for the 41 of Noah Belleville still leads the field.
Toby Estes must have had troubles on pit road. It's showing him in 15th place right now.
Yeah, he is all the way backwards here. We've been working on fixing some audio issues, looking at everyone and their comments on the stream chat. He had a really bad pit stop there. We're going to see what happened to him here. We're going to actually take a look at his pit stop here. If we can pull it up here. Yeah, here's what his pit stop looked like. He overshot his box, is what happened. There's what happened to Toby Estes. Because he had a really, we jumped to him and he's automatically, already had trouble. Because here's what he had. Oh, was there contact? There may have been.
Sideways, had to go through the box, back in. And we talked about confidence. And right now, if you're Toby Estes, you cannot let this deplete you. You just got to settle back in. You know how quick you are. You know that you can be patient and get back to the front. You cannot let this discourage you too much. And you can't let it bother you either. You don't want to be too aggressive trying to get back through the field and put yourself in a bad spot.
Alrighty. As we get ready to go right back at it. It's Belleville, Reynolds, Breo, Sears, top four.
I think right now is when you might start seeing that aggressive side come out at the front of the field on these restarts. I don't think that 7 car is going to be too easy with the 41.
Oh, he can't be. He can't afford to be at this point anymore. Stage 3, this is where the points are made. This is where everything's decided. He's got to go for it, but Belleville, again, phenomenal restart. Being able to control that restart lane is so critical. And he's already gotten clear, and so has Breo, importantly. Breo up to second. As they go out down the back straightaway. Blankenship stuck behind Reynolds. Sears right behind him. Estes already back up to 10th. He was down in I believe he was down to 19th. For a moment, watch out, Ryan Pennell. He's off the track. Single car. We will stay green.
Jeremy Brialt running second. It looks like Jacob Blankenship is in the 4th place position. Single file, the 14 still battles with the 64. Looks like the 14 will clear him for 5th place. But they're a little spread out here in the top 5, top 6.
Yeah, a little bit more spread out, but that gives a chance, a little bit more breathing space, the ability to sort of create your momentum, to create that energy. Is hold on, Thomas Andrews is in trouble. Single car, everyone gets through. They will not throw the caution for it. Single car. We stay green.
That's big for the start of this stage because now that we've stayed green past all of that, it looks like these cars are single file. Hopefully, and I won't want to jinx the field, but we can stay green and kind of have a good race here.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely don't want to have a caution at this point, especially for these race leaders who have not been able to really even see what they've got yet. You've had a 10, 12 lap runs, but they haven't had a chance to actually run through a full set of tires. This is a big moment. Right now, Breo's got the advantage, but can he hold that advantage throughout the entire stint? We know a pit stop's happening in this stage if it stays green. But how does it ebb and flow from here? No one's had a chance to figure that out. Sears currently sitting second in the championship 4. He's sitting in 4th place on track behind Reynolds, trying to make up some ground.
And if you're Tom Sears and Jacob Blankenship right now, you're just kind of settling in. As if you're the 74 of Brialt, you got 1st place right in front of you. How aggressive do you stay? Do you try to reel that guy in, or do you just kind of settle back in and save some tires? You know that you're in front of those other guys that you're fighting for the championship with. It's going to be interesting to see how he manages this. If he tries to get up to 1st, or if he just tries to settle in and ride right now.
It's all a game of cat and mouse, as they like to say. The ebb and flow, it changes constantly. It's a giant chess match. Belleville's won 2 of the last 3 races. He's done a phenomenal job at the closing stages of this season. Breo knows that. He's been against it. He's had to deal with it. More so than I think he would like to be on the losing end of it. But he knows what's in that 41 Ford right now is Reynolds. A mistake from Reynolds just gave Sears 3rd. Really good save by Reynolds. Same thing we saw with Toby Estes in stage 2. But now Sears is unleashed. Now he can chase down Breo. See if he can do that. Blankenship mired behind Josh Gaiman. He's sitting in 6th. Estes down in 14th. Trouble for him even still at the worst possible time. Stage 3, and now you're at the mercy of your competitors and any cautions that come your way. But right now, things not looking good for the 19, sitting down in 14th, 7 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, 6 or 7 tenths back is the 14 of Tom Sears to Jeremy Brialt. This is going to be the race. No more stages left. Looks like we're going to have about 60 laps to go here. Can these drivers make it all the way on fuel? If it stays green, which we're starting to really spread out, we'll see what these cars do. Phoenix, really tricky track, Clayton. But if it stays green, can these drivers make it all the way on fuel?
I believe you have about 50 laps of fuel in this thing, so if it does stay green, we will see green flag pit stops.
Yeah, green flag pit stops are almost a guarantee, at least in stage 3. It was very iffy in some of the larger tracks. It didn't have to worry about pitting in stage 1 and 2 if you didn't have to, and a lot of drivers didn't in stage 1. But here in stage 3, it is vital to make a really timely pit stop. And that throws a different question. You know, the pit window is about 50, 55 laps. When do you come in? Do you try to take an undercut here? It is a 1 mile lap. Like, these are 28-second laps, it looks like here. So that's at least a lap and a half, 2 laps that you're losing for a pit stop. It's very important not to get caught up with a caution during the green flag pit stops and be trapped a lap down. That would really put you on the back foot at the worst possible time. That would be detrimental. But Tom Sears, I think, will probably be the last one to pit, if I'm honest. We're looking at him. He's sitting in third. He's caught up to Breo and Belleville, reeling him in, surely but calmly. Tom Sears could be a problem as Reynolds also, once again...
More problems down the backstretch.
Yeah. Really hard for Reynolds as he's just pushing, trying to hold up to the top three. It's just slipping away from him. Gaiman sitting in fifth, a season of what could have been for him. Lost out on both the Saturday Night Showdown Championship and the A-Squared Championship in the round of 8. Blankenship sitting in sixth, dealing with Seth Wanzing. These two have had a pretty storied history this season. It's all about, right now, these top 4 in the championship run. Seth Wanzing looking to play spoiler. He's going to race them hard, but he's going to race them fair. Dustin Painter in the 80, in the 65, sitting in 8th. Brandon Feder place in 9th in the number 80. Davey Halk in 10th place, trying to end his season on a high note. Really good run so far by a lot of drivers in this top 10 at a very opportune time right now with 56 laps to go. A lot of people rooting for Noah Belleville to win this race in the Twitch chat, apparently. Right now, he's doing what he needs to do. But the battle up front between Breo and Sears about to heat up. There's the battle between the top 3.
Alliance Racing Championship Series A-Squared Racing finale. 4 drivers vying for this championship. Jeremy Brialt, Tom Sears, Jacob Blankenship.
Toby Estes there sitting...
Yeah, Toby Estes.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're so used to seeing all 4 of them in the top 10. You have to actually look down.
Just looking down, yeah. And Toby Estes running a 13th position just outside of the top 10. A culmination of a lot of people's work. Shout out to Tom Sears, Ryan Pinnell, Thomas Andrews, the owners of ARCS. These guys do a great job of calling all the shots here and making things work. Ryan Pinnell has done a great job with this series. This is the first season, like we said earlier in the broadcast, for A-Squared on iRacing. So proud of these drivers, and we're seeing right now Jeremy Brialt out to was a decent place, was a decent lead. The 14 is starting to close the gap, Clayton. We might make this a race with less than 55 laps to go.
Yeah, it's starting to start tightening down here a little bit. You know, you're looking at pit stops there, and they're coming within the next, I believe, 30 laps is what we're looking at here. It's going to be difficult. You hear how much they're backing up off the throttle. It is very much a struggle as these tires get older and older and older to try to make something stick. But Breo holding on to that top spot in the championship order at the moment, just behind Belleville, trying to win this race. And Briley, get us some insight here. When do you pit? You know 50 laps is where you need to be. Do you try to short pit or do you stay out as long as possible?
I don't know. I think if you're at 74, you try to stay out as long as possible. But if you're the 14 of Tom Sears, you might just ride around and wait until you see what the 74 does. You might want to just follow him in, stay with him. He's had the most pace. You want to keep that guy in front of you the whole time. You do not want to lose track of where he's at and all that kind of stuff. So if it stays green, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And you have to nail those pit stops. Any little problem, you can lose so much time, and it's going to be hard to get it back, especially if they don't have a caution.
Coming to 50 laps to go. Laps beginning to tick away. It was tedious for the drivers through the first couple stages. Whoa, watch out, that was Andrews! And the caution comes out, I believe. No, it does not. They will not throw it. We saw the lights flicker yellow for a second, but they turned back off. And Andrews, he will not wait. It checked up Belleville enough that Breo got by. Belleville had to take very evasive maneuvers just to try to avoid getting hit by Andrews as he bounced off the outside wall. And the top 2 in the championship are now top 2 in this race, thanks to that.
Clayton, are you going to have to win this race to win this championship?
You just might.
I'm looking at the Hall of Fame. Jeremy Briel, 40 wins in ARCS. Tom Sears, 53 wins in ARCS. These top two drivers lead the entire league in wins. Who's going to win this race? This is an incredible race we're seeing right here. Less than 50 laps to go. These drivers are going to put it all on the line for an A² championship.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit more intense. We look back there, Blankenship actually coming down pit lane early. Blankenship making his stop. Who reacts to him? He needs the track position. He's going to take that gamble. As you mentioned, two of the winningest drivers in ARCS right now, 1-2. Tom Sears chasing him down.
And you cannot stay out too long if you're the leaders, because you're just losing that much time to Jacob Blankenship. He's going to have those fresher tires. It's going to be making up time on the track. So you can't stay out too long if you're Jeremy and Tom Sears right now.
And Briley, how annoyed are you right now if you're sitting in third place and you're the 41 Noah Belleville? You're driving around and you're like, these drivers are in a chase for the championship. How bad is the 41 going to feel if he gets side by side with the 14 and loses him anytime? It's crazy because we are competitors, but we're also racing with our friends, and you have to understand how much respect that Moldy Muskrat has for Lurkin Top Gaming running second and third, Briley.
I think right now, if you're the 41, if you're not just absolutely lights out faster than him, maybe you don't make a move, but it looks like he is making a move on the inside.
A little bit of help there with Ryan Pennell. A little bit of lap traffic in the way. Tom Sears is going to lose out on that position, possibly another position. Never mind, that is Mark Dila, who's going to stay out of the way, even though he's on fresh tires. Blankenship only one lap down. Josh Gaiman followed him. We'll see what his laps are here. His last lap. Coming to the line, what's it going to be for him? Is it any better? 28.09. It is a second faster. And he is on cold tires.
On the back stretch, he was able to gather it up, but they're starting to get loose. Right now, you're really thinking about coming down pit road and not risking it.
Yeah, you see Mark Dila, the 52, trying to make his way through, get one of his laps back. He's 2 laps down at the moment. That's Snap-on number 52. Breo's not going to fight him too awful hard here. He knows that Dila is on fresher tires. Dila pit on lap 103. Breo has not pit since lap 82. I have a feeling that Breo and Sears and Belleville are all going to go as long as possible on this set of tires and on this fuel tank. For Blankenship, he had to take a gamble. He wasn't gaining time. But the question that I kind of have for Blankenship as he sits well on further in the back here, does he have enough? As caution's out. Caution has come out.
Oh, and the 14 needed that, you guys. That was going to be intense. The 74 in the lead, and obviously Jeremy Briel in that 74 car did not want to see that caution. We're going to have a late race restart. Briley, this is why we broadcast races. This is why we say why we want to call this. Because these late race restarts, 4 guys ready for a championship. Already guys decided to go down pit road, the entire front row. Everybody going to come down pit road. This is going to get really, really good. I'm super pumped up about the end of this race.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not running in this one right now, because you got to know that the nerves right now for these championship guys, they have got to be skyrocketing right now, especially having to deal with this restart. And how many more restarts are we going to have? How aggressive do you be right here? Do you try to get out to a lead and try to take off? It's going to be wild. I think that this may not be the last caution that we have.
Yeah, running aboard with Brandon Fetterplace. This is what caused the caution as he tried getting around Ryan Pennell. And Ryan Pennell got loose. Fetterplace tried getting around him, and unfortunately Ryan Pennell kind of corrected right into the door of Fetterplace and into the wall. Both of them went. Better place in pit lane for repairs. Donald Ray, now the race leader, but he comes down pit lane. So that's going to help out a lot here. Jacob Blankenship. This did not help him out at all. This did not help him out in the slightest. He is now well and truly at the whim of the racing gods. He's going to need a wave around here, which I believe he is going to take. Breo will inherit the race lead. Breo, Belleville, and Sears and everybody. Yeah, they just came down pit lane. Okay, I was going to say, don't tell me they stayed out. They did not. They came down pit lane last lap. So Breo, Belleville, Sears, Wansing, Painter, Davey Houck, Josh Gaiman, our lucky dog. He was the first car lap down because he was one of those that pit. And he will drop to the tail end of the field. Brandon Fetterplay stayed on the lead lap. Rich George on the lead lap as well. Jacob Blankenship trying to get on the lead lap. Trying to get that wave around here. Gonna be intense, that is for sure. Right now, the championships come down to 2. Briley, Terry, take your picks. Is it Bray over Tom?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Don't make me pick. Real is looking like he has had the strongest car of the championship for all day long. Here's the thing, though. You're going to be restarting next to the 41, and he's already showed that he's running these playoff guys kind of aggressively. I don't think he's going to lay over here. It's going to be interesting how that shakes out because we know that Jeremy is fighting for that lead. He wants to win this race. And Tom has just kind of been patient and riding around. Hasn't made too many aggressive moves yet. Maybe now is when we start seeing those aggressive moves.
Well, and you know that's kind of the 14's MO. Tom Sears, what you said earlier, he's going to race you hard. He's going to race you fair. Is the 14 willing to be a little unfair to do what he needs to do to either win this race or beat the 4 guys he's competing against? Right now, there's only 1 guy he's competing against, and he's right in front of him on the bottom, Clayton. Green flag coming out, less than 50 laps remaining.
Yeah, you pretty much called it here. They're right there, side by side.
Right behind them.
Belleville already dropped to 3rd. Actually dropped to 4th. There's Seth Wansing. Wansing trying to be a battle here.
The 74 with a great turn 1, Briley. So sorry to interrupt you, but these guys are racing hard. The 74 with a nice turn 1.
Staying right with that 74 is not letting them get away.
That's what he has to do. He can't afford it now, and now everyone's good to the finish.
The
41
dives way underneath the 9. They are racing for 3rd place. This ain't for anything, but they are battling.
All for pride right now. Wansing. Yeah, that's the big thing. Don't make any contact. As you said there, Briley, the gloves are off now. You thought the gloves were off before. It is especially so now.
Now this 1st and 2nd place battle starting to tighten up. The 14 running a little bit higher line there. Did you see that, guys? That's going to give them a little bit better run off of the exit. And you can see it's starting to tighten up for 1st and 2nd. Still 3rd and 4th battling it out.
And that's just letting those leaders get away. Them stand side by side. Looks like the 41's going to clear Seth. Can he start it? How aggressive is he going to be whenever he gets to the 14? And if he gets around the 14, how aggressive is he going to be around the 74? It's going to be interesting to see what happens if he can make it back to those guys.
Clayton, I've just looked down at my hands. I'm biting my nails completely off of my fingers. I've got to stop. This is getting intense. The 14 trying to make a move right now with the 74. He's going to be there.
Yeah, it's one of the situations now where you can't afford to just kind of wait and rest and kind kind of just leave it to whatever it is. You got to force these mistakes to happen if they're going to happen. Breo and Sears, they know each other very well. They've raced each other for a very long time. As you mentioned before, two of the winningest drivers in ARCS going at it for the best prize in ARCS competition. But right now, it's Breo in control. Belleville sitting in third, trying to play spoiler. Does the 41 have something to say in how this battle really shakes out? Breo had a little bit of help there coming through turn 2.
Yeah, the 41 experienced an extreme amount of drama, kind of some heat towards him because, you know, like I said, he's the only driver.
Whoa, look out!
Now they're running side by side. Side by side, the 14 on the bottom, 74 on the outside, Clayton.
Here we go. Sears decided to go for it.
On the exit here, can he clear him? It's going to be close. Not going to be able to make it.
Belleville chose Sears for a moment. Not sure where he wanted to go.
Oh.
Breo chops him off.
Oh.
For a moment, Sears had it.
Some side draft from the 41. That might slow the 14 down, but the 41 stays on track, doesn't take the dogleg route.
Top 3 staying in it, and these 3 battling allows Wanzi to stay in it. If any of these 3 make a mistake, he's right there on them.
And what did we say pre-race? We said the 9 car absolutely 100% wanted to put his car in victory lane. We knew he had a reason for putting his car in victory lane, so don't count him out. These top 3 are battling hard. The 41 dives way deep into the bottom.
That was not voluntary. That was not voluntary. He saved that car. That was... Yeah, we almost saw what happened to John Smith earlier. Happened to Belleville. But Belleville did a really good job keeping a hold of it. He lost time because of it, but he lives to fight another day. Breo now driving as defensively as we've seen him drive all season long. He's not been allowed to be on the attack now. He just has to use his mirror and make sure that wherever Tom Sears wants to be, that Breo gets there first. He's forcing Sears off the yellow line, and it's doing wonders so far.
Folks, if you are watching right now, you are in for a treat. This is the most experienced drivers in ARCS doing battle. The 14 changing his line to block the run from the 41. A very wise move. You are going to see wise move after wise move right now in the next 25 laps. This is an incredible race that we're seeing right now, and they're racing for a championship. Clayton, we asked earlier, do you have to win this race to win the A² title? The answer right now is yes, you have to win this race.
Yeah, and these drivers are showing what it is worth to them. Breo, we've seen pressure, and I say this a lot. Pressure turns either... It turns dirt into diamonds or it turns diamonds into dust. We're seeing what Jeremy Breo and Tom Sears are made of right now. And it is oh so vital that they're able to hold on to this for the next 25 laps. It doesn't seem like much when you think about it, because these are 28-second laps. This is literally 12 and a half minutes of racing if you want to put it in a time capsule. But these are the longest 12 and a half minutes of the drivers' seasons so far. And Sears now under threat, under pressure from Belleville. Belleville making it more difficult for Sears. He's taking that bottom lane away.
Yeah, this won't help the 14. 14 gonna have to take the outside coming out of 4 past the start-finish line. The 41 still on the dogleg and still on his inside.
Sears sent it in deeper. Sears made it stick.
Yeah, you can see how they... Yeah, well, you can see how they lose ground. He did make it stick. That's nice for the 14, but they still lost a ton of ground to the 74. And now the 9 maybe might start doing better with the 41.
As I said earlier, the more they battle them, the better it helps Wanzing. He's going to try to be a thorn in everyone's side here. But Sears has gotten clear of Belleville. Now the battle begins to make that time back up. He's got a 10th back, so he's got time. But
Sears has done a great job of keeping his composure. He's had to worry about that 41 car behind him. He's kept him at bay. He's finally starting to get away from him. Now he can start focusing on that 74.
Yeah, that is it's a big relief when you can finally start putting your focus back where you want it to be. It's so hard to have to focus on multiple different targets. And a lot of, at least here on ABN, we often compare it to dogfighting. Being a fighter pilot in the skies, having to focus on so many targets. Like, if you don't have any tracking systems, it is really, you've got your mirror, you can turn your head, you've got the windshield in front of you. All you have is what you're looking at. And it's so hard when you're focusing, especially behind you, trying to make sure that Belleville stays behind you for Sears. It's so hard to keep that pace up with Breo because that's not what he's focusing on. It's very much a target fixation sort of deal. And we're seeing it here now. Sears, once again, having to play target fixation with Belleville. He's letting Breo go again.
And the 74 is loving seeing this right now in his mirror, because right now they're fighting each other. They're wearing their stuff out, and Jeremy can just run his line and not have to worry about somebody on the outside of them and running the tires off the thing. He can just stay composed, make some laps here, and watch them fight for it in the mirror.
Oh,
watch
the 41
out!
loses
Wow.
in the wall, the 9. I don't know if that was net code or what, but that was a big deal right there. The 41 way into the wall, and he's completely out of the picture.
Yeah, that was a big ordeal, and that's actually Tom Sears' biggest friend right now is the fact that Belleville no longer in the conversation. He's still sitting in 4th, but now he's out of the podium picture with 19 to go. 3-car battle, and they all want this race win. Did you have, like, if you're one of these two, one of these three, it's race win or nothing.
14 got into the wall just a little bit there. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
going to hurt him or not, but it definitely slowed his momentum down a little bit.
74, 14,
Whoa, caution's
9.
out.
He's on the track.
Caution's out, and Toby Estes is in it. It's Estes and Gaiman.
Ouch, apologies coming out in the chat from Gaiman. We'll check the replay to see what that ended up being. The 74, the 14, the 9. The 41 still in 4th, but he's going to have a little bit of damage. On these next-gen cars, Briley, we talk about that right rear quarter panel being an issue with drivers in real life hitting the wall and breaking the car. Is the 41 going to have to use a fast repair here?
It's if he's got one right now is probably the time that you might want to burn it, because you're coming down to the end of it. What else do you really have to lose? There's not a lot that Noah's really going for here other than just to win the race. You do not want to take a chance on having any kind of damage that can slow you down. You definitely want to use that fast repair if you got it.
The drivers will agree. They all come down pit road. Clayton, Jeremy Briault leads the whole field of drivers, the 14 right behind him.
Yeah, we looked at what happened that caused that accident. Gaiman tagged the wall and then bounced right in front of Toby. And it caused both those drivers to come to a stop on the back straightaway. As we see what happens here, Breo coming to his box. Potential money stops here. Let's see how it goes.
Ooh, the 74 slightly onto the left side. Way quicker for the 74. He's going to exit a lot better than the 14. The 9 might even get the 14 as well, but the 14 is going to be able to stay in second. He'll take second off pit road. 74 wins the race. 14 second, 9 and third. It looks like the 41 is going to come out 4th.
Dustin Painter and John Smeal. So John Smeal stayed out. So he's going to lead a lap here just for the sake of leading a lap. Blankenship on 2 tires. Donald Ray on 2 tires. 4 tires for Breo, Sears, Wanzing, Belleville, Davey Houck, Brandon Fetterplace, Tommy Reynolds. Dustin Painter came in. He led his lap. He got his bonus point that he wanted. Mark Dila in 12th. Actually, he'll move it to 11th. James Kerr will be in 12th here. Josh Gaiman with repairs. He'll get around Dustin Painter here, it looks like. As will Rich George. And Toby Estes will be in 15th on this restart.
Yeah, looks like the 85, he must have stayed out as well.
Now, he can't... So, 2 tire stops for Blankenship and Ray. So, the only person that stayed out was John Smeal.
Oh, okay, thanks. Thanks for the clarification. The 85 going to be in second place here. So they'll choose So Jonathan Smeal stayed out.
Yeah.
The 85 on 2 tires, so we'll look for one of them to take the
yes,
inside and one to take the outside.
Yeah, Smeal's got to take the inside. It's going to force a lot of chaos here.
But this might be big for Jeremy Briel. If he can get around the 85 quick enough, he might create space with the 2 tires of the 85. He's going to want to press the 14.
We got to emphasize this. Breo does not have a fast repair. Him and Toby Estes have used their fast repairs. Blankenship and Tom Sears have not. Blankenship and Tom Sears can afford to be more aggressive. Breo cannot. A wreck here at this stage ends his championship run. He has to play this smart.
How much drama can
on the inside? It's
gonna
be hard to not see them make it 3 wide going into.
Oh, they're going to. Oh, they're going to.
How much drama can you possibly have in a championship race? If
we're gonna find out.
If you're not watching, you should be watching. And if you're watching, you should tell your friends to be watching and tell them to watch what's going on in the ARCS A Squared Championship race. These drivers are about to lay it all out right now, Clayton. I'm ready.
I think the drivers are ready here. It's going to be a bit of pandemonium. 14 laps to go, 13 at the line. John Smeal leads us to the green flag. Jacob Blankenship leads the championship 4. Oh, dear. Green flag back in the air. Really good restart by John Smeal. Got the run that he needed.
He's going to lose a lot of time. He got a big checkup in front of him.
Yeah, that was his teammate.
74 side by side.
Ooh, here we go.
Oh, the 74. He's going to take advantage of Smeal being up in front of Blankenship.
It's not done. It's not over.
85 on the outside.
Yeah, keep an eye. These two, they're already bumping. Hip check.
Oh, they make contact.
Yeah, hip check between the 85 and the 74. Belleville's in the run. Oh, huge crash.
Big wreck.
That's Houck involved. Rack him up and try again. Davey Houck, big accident. Same with Brandon Fetterplace. Yeah, we saw that one coming.
Yeah, that was getting intense. Any championship guys involved, we want to make sure that there was.
It looks like it was behind all of them. Toby Estes would have been the one that was in danger, and it looks like he made it through.
Well, he's going to take advantage of that for sure.
Because he put him in 7th. Oh, Smeal and Reynolds also involved, it looks like. So, what happens here? And you see Davey Houck immediately gets hooked straight to the right. And it is by John Smeal. And he got loose. Tags. Oof. He tagged Houck, got loose on the apron.
At first glance, it almost looked like one of those incidents where you don't know where that guy is on the outside of you. But yeah, I think that you're right. Maybe Smeal did get a little bit loose.
We're right on board with him here.
Come down on the dog leg.
Yeah, we're right on board with Smeal here. Because this is not the first time he's had that problem. So here's what happened. Here's on board with Smeal. Yeah, that is all. And we saw this happen with it when he spun the first time. And we'll go back to Fetterplace here. That's what he saw. Just point blank, that's what he saw coming out of the dog leg. And he was just trying to keep it rolling again. He was trying to keep it from stalling there.
Tommy Withers in the 6th car, he's going to be the recipient of the free pass position.
Yeah, but puts 14 cars on the lead lap. It's always like a lot like what we saw with the first time Smeal touched the apron there. He touched it again at the roughest part of the transition where the banking is the most steep on the dogleg. And it sent his car around. He saved it a little bit, but he was still coming down the track as Davey Houck was beginning to move up. And you quickly run out of room when you have to get to turn 1 and 2. You have to be back above the yellow line to really be able to hold any speed. And that's where Davey was trying to aim himself, and Smeal was just right there, and it sent him right across the path to Feather Place, whose race is over. Ryan Pennell in pit lane, Thomas Andrews in pit lane. His race is done. Withers in pit lane as well. But he was the lucky dog recipient, so he gets that free pit stop. We will have 16 cars on the lead lap by the time this race is over. By the time we get back to green, less than 10 laps to go. We mentioned it before. Do you have to win this race to win the championship? The answer to that, more than likely, yes. All the top 4, once again, top 7 on track. Estes in 7th, Sears in 5th. They're separated by Wanzing, Belleville, and Mark Dila, who's made his appearance in the top 10 known. He's up 16 spots from where he started.
Jeremy Briel, Jacob Blankenship, Tom Sears, Toby Estes now up to 6th place. This is your championship 4. I guess it depends on who's the cleanest here. We know the 74 had to use a fast repair early. Not quite sure about the 85, the 14.
The 85 and the 14 are clean. They've got one. They've got a fast repair to use.
These guys might push. Very few laps remaining. Pace car is off. We'll have a very long wait until we get to the restart zone. 1, 2, 4, and 6 looks like how they run on track. Clayton, this is about to get intense.
If you're Tom Sears and Toby Estes right now is the time to go. You want to nail this restart, and you do not want to see that 74 and 85 get out to a big lead.
Well, you know the 85's not going to have a big lead. He's on 2 tires. Green flag in the air. The matter is...
Big run on the bottom.
Yeah.
85 going to have to battle now with the 9. 14 will battle with the 41.
Car in the wall.
A bunch of drivers way back there. Car around.
Another caution.
Yeah, that's James Kerr. James Kerr got sent around. We may end up having a green-white checkered. If not, it's going to be close.
Now, did the 85, is he going to be...
He is third in line.
He's going to be set in 3rd.
Yeah.
If that remains, he's going to be on the bottom. You guys are going to have
he still gets to choose.
To go.
It's all about where Wanzing wants to be. Does Wanzing take the bottom?
Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't...
I feel like that's the best place to restart because if you pay attention here, all these guys on the outside, it's very hard to time the restart from the front row on the outside when you're not the guy that's leading. It's hard to keep up with that guy and get the jump with him. When you're right behind him, you can stay on his bumper and you can get a lot better restart that way. I think if you're in the 9 car and you're wanting to go after this win, you want to restart right behind that 74.
Here's what happened to James Kerr. Got stuck in a 4 wide sandwich and got spun around by Josh Gaiman and Tommy Reynolds. Pretty easy and selfless spin there, or a harmless spin there, but Kerr, now at the very tail end, 16 cars on the lead lap. Feather Place's race is over. Our Storage in front of him, sitting in 15th. Ryan Pennell trying to get one of his laps back. He will get one of his laps back here. He will be 2 laps down. So, still a chance for him to get on the lead lap again. He's had a rough race.
Ryan Pennell does a great job for A Squared trying to manage all of these things. Also, Seth Wansing, Jeremy Briel, all of the admins for A Squared, they do a great job. We run a tight ship, Clayton. This is a great race that we're seeing, and this is just an extension of all of what ARCS can do. Go to arcs.com and see all the things that we have to offer. The 74, Jeremy Briel, Seth Wansing, Jacob Blankenship, Jacob right now, and Tom Sears, even Toby Estes. These guys have put themselves in a position to win this race, and you might have to win this race to win a championship.
It's becoming more and more likely you're going to need a win because it's 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 6th for the championship contenders. And you're going to have at least one of the cars in the inside lane. He may see Blankenship on the front row in the outside lane. He may try that again. I'm curious if Wanzing doesn't take that opportunity to go in the front row, and try to really squeeze down Braille here. Because one thing we've seen, the outside lane has been skunked on these restarts because, like, they're relying on that inside lane. And they give that inside lane a lot more space than I feel like they really need to. I'd be interested to see if Wanzing goes to the outside lane and really tries to elbows out, battle his teammate here for this race win. That's what thing I'm looking at.
It does look like Seth is going to go to the outside. So
Nope.
Nope.
Shows otherwise. Move to the inside before the start finish line. So he will start on the inside lane. Blaneship will start on the outside lane. So will Sears. Interesting stuff. Estes also shows the inside lane. He'll be fourth on the inside.
85 is going to need a really good start. You're going to have, I mean, this is going to be a green-white checkered right here, boys. The 85 is going to have a good turn one.
This is not a green-white checkered. This is a natural. This is a natural finish. This is not an attempt.
Natural as it might be, it still remains a green flag.
Yeah, it's still a green-white checkered, but it's not an overtime.
A yellow. The 74, and we've seen traditionally on the bottom in all of these restarts, Clayton.
Yeah.
These guys have had a really good start when they're able to control the restart on the bottom. So I expect the 74 to get a good run. The 85 is playing from a deficit right now.
Yeah, 100% playing by deficit, and Tom Sears followed him. I'm not sure how well that's going to work for him. Green flag in the air.
Good restart from the 85.
Really good restart. He's going to everyone chase down the apron. That's what I was thinking that Wanzing would do. Blaneship was the one to do it. And there's still contact. Wanzing drifted up. Belleville.
Now they're 3 wide per second.
Oh, boy. You just got to get to the white flag. You got to get to the last lap. Belleville sent it in. We're coming to it. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. Braille leads it.
The 74, 3 championship wins in ARCS, wants to make it 4. The 85 with the best shot.
He just didn't have the tires fresh enough. Wanzing gets spun. They're wrecking behind, but it's a run to the finish.
Gonna dig way deep.
Yeah, he did, but it's not going to be enough.
The
Jeremy
74
is your champion of 2022.
What a race.
Jeremy Braille, 2022 A² Cup Series champion. What a drive. A new champion crowned. And his name is Jeremy Braille. Toby Estes giving a congratulatory bump. But Jeremy Braille, your champion of 2022.
I can hear it in the chat, dude. 74. So happy to be winning this title. Great win. He needed to win it. Briley, we talked about do you need to win it to win a title? You needed to win it to win a title. Jeremy Braille, the number 74 car, he's going to be the winner.
And it was amazing to see him have to come back from the back of the pack, having to use that fast repair early, and just stayed focused and got back to the front. Had the car with winning speed all day long, and just put it together whenever it mattered the most.
Yeah, he did. He did a phenomenal job tonight of just managing that pressure. He was under pressure a lot. Belleville, Blankenship, Sears, everyone was throwing something at him all race long. Having that trouble getting that momentum built up, having that ability to sort of get into a rhythm was kind of taken from him. He didn't really have a chance to do that except for in stage 3 at the beginning there. Agent of Chaos as he may be, a chaotic race is what he needed to become a champion in the top series of ARCS. And he's gonna burn it down. He's gonna enjoy it. Someone better tell him to get the victory lane. You can actually do that here. He's doing a really good job right now. Just soaking it all in.
You guys, we saw an incredible race. We saw all 4 of these Championship 4 drivers be in a chance to win the race. We thought that Noah Belleville, Tommy Reynolds, they were the early favorites in this race. All of that changed. What a story. What a race. so glad to be calling that with you too. It was an incredible trip. Congrats to the 74 Jeremy Briel. He is an A squared champion. He's an ARCS champion 4 times over. Just credentials, all of this great stuff. So happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, he's soaking this one in. What a way to end the season. Absolutely phenomenal stuff as Breo wraps it around. Is that pit entry?
He's trying.
He's looking for that pit. He's looking for that victory lane. Is what he's looking for.
He's gonna get there. They're gonna celebrate this one in the 74 camp for sure. They're gonna celebrate this one.
A lot of change coming up for the series in 2023. New teams, new drivers. All of it's going to be here on ABN. From flag to flag, from Daytona to Phoenix next year. From LA to North Wilkesboro. He's found his way to victory lane. Well earned. There you go.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Go 74, Jeremy Briel. What an incredible thing.
That is everything you imagine it would be. That is just so phenomenal there. You see victory lane there. The 74, Jeremy Breo, after a very long 2022 campaign, he is champion at the highest level for ARCS stock car competitions. We get to hear from him in just a moment. What a finish for Jeremy Breo. What a way to end the season. 7 wins. It's fitting for the number 74 camp. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. And we can see the interview, the waiting room for the interviews. Everyone giving their congratulations to Breo there. So we'll let everyone kind of go through that process. Wanzing gave his congratulations there. While they're doing that, we will see if we can talk to Bellevue here. He was the 3rd place finisher here tonight. So we'll see if we can talk to him here for just a second. Noah, this is Clayton from the ABN booth. You got a copy, man?
You got me? Yep, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Alrighty. 3rd place for you. You led just about all of stage 1. You led most of stage 2. And you really kind of gave it a shot to try to win stage 3 there and try to get this race, try to get your 3rd race win. Crazy race there at the end. Kind of walk us through it on your side because you had a lot to work through.
I mean, I wasn't really planning on passing Lurkin or Brielle there when they were battling because I know they're battling for a championship. So I was just gonna try and ride behind it. I lost the lead there. I was leading a while, but I don't know if you saw, but did you see me miss Andrews there?
Yeah, it cost you the lead there for a second, but yeah, you did a really good job avoiding him.
Yeah, that was a Code Brown. And then I don't know how I missed that, but that lost me the lead, and after that, they all started battling for the championship, and I was like, well, I don't want to screw anyone over, so I'll just kind of ride around here.
Yeah, no, we was talking kind of about that in the broadcast because I was like, is the 41 getting a little annoyed because maybe he has the faster car than these top 2, but like how bad are you going to feel when you're side by side with Tom Sears for a championship that you can't win, you know?
Yeah. I got beside him a few times there. I just kind of let off because I was like, I don't want to screw this up. So, I don't know. He's a little mad at me because I was apparently riding a little too close to him, but I didn't want to give up too much time because Seth was coming behind me. So, yeah. It is what it is, and it was a good year. So, next year, hopefully, we'll be running full time, and we'll be one of the 4.
That's one thing that we talked about. You know, obviously, you didn't get the race full time this season. 2 wins on the season, 8 podiums, which is a staggering number for you, given how little you were able to actually race and how much luck was kind of against you for the most part from March all the way through to the summer. You know, you look at what next season's going to bring. It's the draft in January, and your stock value as far as the draft goes is through the roof. looking into next year with so much changing, you said you want to be one of the 4. The competition level's only going to get up from here. How much tougher are you expecting to have to drive next year? It's already been a battle, but it's only going to get tougher from here. You got us, Noah? You got a copy?
Yeah. I got you. I think my internet's just being a little bit rough right now, but yeah, I think you're gonna see a lot of the more familiar faces next year, because I feel like the people that'll get drafted are the people that are known to be fast and the people that everyone are familiar with. So I don't think you'll see too many new guys next year, but so I feel like I could probably hang with them. But I'm sure it'll probably be the same guys, your Brios, Blankenships, Gamins, Sears up there up front, and I'm gonna try and get them.
Well, no, it's been fun watching you race all season. Obviously, there's some winter stuff going on, and the next year it kicks back in full bloom. Before we let you go and enjoy the podium, obviously well earned, best of those not in the championship 4 tonight. You had a lot of fans in the Twitch chat watching you tonight. If there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, Noah, the floor is yours. Congratulations on a very well thought 3rd place finish.
Yeah, thanks for streaming, and looking forward to you going full time again next year. And I say again because you weren't technically supposed to this year, but you did it anyways, and we're grateful for that. And congrats to Jeremy on the championship. We were battling there for a while, and that was some good racing. And shout out to everyone watching.
Well, Noah, again, congrats. 8th podium of the season in A squared alone. 3rd place here tonight at Phoenix. Can't wait to see what you pull together in the winter series that ARCS has going on, and can't wait to see where you get drafted here in next January. Noah, have a good night, man.
You too.
That was Noah Belleville, our 3rd place finisher. Jacob Blankenship, again, allergic to microphones and interviews. We won't get to hear from him. Probably a bittersweet way for that race to end for him as it stands. But a really good result for him. Really fantastic drive this weekend for him. He's the Truck Series champion of 2022 and runner-up here in 2022 in A squared. But now it's time to interrupt all the the waiting room celebrations, I should say, and bring in our series champion. Jeremy Breo, this is Clayton from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, you got me, man.
7 race wins. You're a champion at the highest level of ARCS stock car competitions. Walk us through that emotion that you're feeling right now. It's been a very long year. So worth it.
Yeah, you're right. It's been one of the longest seasons I've ever done in any league. So shout out to everybody that's raced this year and everybody on the admin squad. Just awesome job that we made it through a full 38 race schedule. That's pretty cool. But yeah, man, I had some tough races there, especially losing some that I thought I should have won, and then that just makes up for it right there. Like, I don't even care about Bristol. I don't even care about last week. I don't even care about those other races I should have won, man. Like, this is what I wanted the whole time. So this is pretty awesome, and to do it in the Taco Bell car, man, this is storybook for me.
It seemed so storybook for you. You started pretty well close to the front, got thrown backwards early on, had to use your fast repair early on, and it changed the entire complexity of the race. Getting back to the front, having to survive all the melees. We had 13 cautions tonight. How much did that early fast repair use, how much did that early damage shift the way you handled tonight's race, having to get back to the front, how you battled everyone up front?
Honestly, if I didn't wreck that first lap, I probably wouldn't have won the championship. It calmed me down so much because I was so hyped up for this coming into this. I knew I needed to perform to be to win this, because the other three guys that I was racing against, and a lot of the guys that were in the playoffs this year were hard to beat. And yeah, I knew I needed to be on top of my game. And when I came into this race, I was too into myself. I was thinking I had it won before it started, and then reality struck me in turn one. So if that didn't happen, I probably would have been so cocky in the middle of the race that I probably would have done something stupid and not even had a shot at it. So yeah, it's nice to get humbled at the beginning of the race so I can figure out how to drive it. And I'm glad I took it easy there at the start after the wreck, because if I didn't, I was just going to use up my tires every run and kill my car. So it was nice to figure that out. And it came down to it at the end with restarts, and I didn't want it to. I wanted it to be a straight up battle, like a long run, but it didn't happen. But other than that, man, I drove my heart out. I tried my hardest to win that, and it worked.
It did. You did such a phenomenal job tonight. As we look at your now a little bit dusty and dirty number 74, but you did such a phenomenal job tonight as we really kind of put a bow on this season. 7 race wins, winningest driver this season. You're just getting closer and closer to getting the Tom's win record here. 41 wins in ARCS. It's been an incredible year, obviously across Indy ARCS, A Squared, Saturday Night Showdown, Thursday Night Thunder. You've been able to win in everything. You're a 4-time champion. How much does this championship mean to you compared to those other 3, considering how much more time went into this season?
Yeah, I mean, those first 3 championships were 2 of those were off-season deals where like all the best of the best got together and we raced for 6 races. So it was just about being the best for 6 weeks essentially. And the Monday Night Lightning Championship was a 10-week deal. It was the best of 10 weeks. This took a lot to be that competitive over 38 weeks. It takes a lot. There's a reason why the actual Cup guys are professionals and why they get paid so much, because it takes a toll on you. It really does. Even just sitting in my sim rig, sweating my ass off in this heat box that I have of a room. It's just I was exhausted last week. I was exhausted the week before, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be pretty exhausted after this race. I'm probably going to fall right asleep. So it means so much more because I raced the best of the best for 38 weeks, and I got crowned the champion. It's just crazy to think that you race for 38 weeks against a lot of the best guys on iRacing, and then you get crowned the champion. I mean, it's something else you can't describe. It's just crazy.
Jeremy, we talked about how this is a culmination of a lot of things in ARCS, and this being the first real official, correct me if I'm wrong, A Squared series on iRacing, and all these different admins, you being one of them, Seth Wansing, Ryan Pinnell, done such an awesome job with this league. You are an A Squared champion, and we talked about in this race how don't underestimate how much these 4 drivers want to win this title, and to hear you talk about how happy you are and how exhausted that you are, and probably you're about to go in there and make a sandwich first because you're probably hungry. It's just incredible. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to all the people that have put an enormous amount of work and effort into this series. Just so proud to see what all of this has kind of turned into.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it like you said, man, it's a whole group effort. Everybody that put this on. Clayton was with us from the beginning, and even in these last 10 races when we weren't supposed to have him, he stepped up. So I got to thank him again. And to have this championship race on ABN was pretty cool too. So yeah, thank you to him, and thank you to Ryan and Seth, like you said, and James Kerr and Cody Pinnell, even though he wasn't here tonight, and everybody else that helped put this on. It was awesome. So hopefully we can put on an even better show next year, and we can have a lot of really good races, because I feel like with this group we can.
Well, it was a really good race tonight. Stage 3 was where everything really shined the brightest. You fought through constant pressure tonight, and it paid off. It paid off in phenomenal ways. We asked the question at the beginning, did you have to win this race to win the championship? The answer was yes. Having all four, you look at all four being the top 6. What's something you take away from this season going into the next season what's something that I guess that you noticed this season that I think defined how the season went for you? Like, what? Give us a defining moment of how the season went, what the season meant for you, other than tonight.
I think the win at Vegas cemented the year for me. We won with ARCS logo on the car after he passed away, and I knew right then and there, like, this was going to be something special. Like, we had something for everybody. And then the week after, we won at Phoenix, so right here. We swept Phoenix. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we got this. There's no way we don't got this. And then Blankenship, Gaiman, Lurkin, Jacket, everybody stepped up their game after that point, and it was a battle from there on out to try and get wins. And I'm surprised that I'm sitting here with 7 wins. Like, that's crazy to think that I got 7 wins over a lot of these guys. I mean, Blankenship, he's got like 6 wins. We were tied coming into this, and it's just I don't know. I just knew it would be special from the beginning of the season, but I needed to get my nose down at the start of the playoffs and just go grind, because that was the only way I was going to win this. And that's how I had to do it.
And I mean, obviously, it means a lot tonight going into the next season. So much changes. You talk about the draft, the new teams. You get to lead one of those teams. Obviously, Team Sideswipe, such a big effort. But now everything changes next year. Looking forward to how everything looks going into January with the draft, and then everything going forward from there. How much does that change? Because now it's no longer you've got your friends that you're battling with, or your teammates. Now it is everything's up for grabs again next year. How do you get ready for that? Because that is it's going to be a completely different level next year.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to whittle it down to the best of the best. I mean, you're gonna have to pick a team that can perform, because the drivers' championship isn't the only thing that's going up next year. So we're gonna have team championships, and we need to have the best possible team. So, I mean, I have a pretty good shot at a superstar in the first round. So, I mean, I got first overall pick, so that's gonna help out. But after that, like, I need to pick the best guys that I possibly can, and we need to go for that owners championship, and then hopefully we're back here in about 12 months talking again. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of effort. Plus, we're gonna have to get together, probably do like practices with the team and everything. So it's just gonna become more of a team oriented thing than it was this year, where it was just a bunch of buddies hanging out in a chat while we were racing. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be completely different.
Well, Jeremy, obviously, I think a date with Taco Bell has your name on it. You've done a phenomenal job, and again, how suiting that it's this Taco Bell scheme that you win the championship in. Gaiman actually just said in the Twitch chat, free crunch wraps courtesy of you, so I guess it's on the house. But Jeremy, before we let you go, obviously we kind of ran through the list, but if there's anyone else in particular you want to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. You're a champion in 2022 at the highest level in ARCS, and it's been well deserved. The floor is yours.
All righty, thank you, man. First of all, I got to thank Smeal Racing Designs, John Smeal. He makes the best paint schemes out there, and we're gonna have a whole load of new paint schemes next year. They're gonna be badass looking. So check him out on Facebook, and get ready for our new paint schemes that are going to be revealed. So that's going to be pretty cool. Thank you to Midwest Barbecue and the whole Wansing family. They are big supporters of mine. So go check them out at MidwestBarbecue.com. They have the best damn smokers in the business. So go check them out. And thank you again to everybody who ran the season. Thank you again to everybody who put in money and anything to get this broadcast. And thank you, Clayton, for broadcasting literally the entire season. Without you, we wouldn't get the kind of exposure that we do. So thank you again, and yeah, can't wait for next year.
Well, Jeremy, enjoy the winner. Enjoy being a champion again for the 4th time. This one hits just a little bit different, Jeremy, but you've definitely earned it. 7 wins. You're a champion in 2022. Enjoy it. Get some Taco Bell, and we'll see you here, I think, in a couple months.
Alrighty. Thank you, man.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
That was Jeremy Breo, our 2022 A Squared Cup Series champion. You see the results on your screen. We're going to run through these real quick, and then we have a bit of conversation with Ryan Pennell to end off the broadcast. Jeremy Breo, the question was, do you have to win this race to be champion? The answer was yes, 100% yes. Breo did just that. Blanchett, 1 position short of doing that. Obviously, a little bit bittersweet for Blankenship after winning the Truck Series Championship last night, but a good effort nonetheless for the 85 crew. Noah Belleville, best of those trying to play spoiler as Breo rolls it off of the victory lane. He's going to go to the technical to get that car inspected. But Noah Belleville, 3rd for Prophecy Racing. Tom Sears, 3rd in the championship. He's still a GOAT in ARCS competition, just not another championship to add to that tally for him. Mark Dila, his best result in the series, 5th place for him. Toby Estes, 4th place in the championship, 6th place in tonight's race. Very rough race for him, and then number 19. But a proud effort nonetheless to make it into the championship 4. Really good effort for him. 3 wins on the season for Toby Estes. Tommy Withers in 7th, Josh Gaiman 8th, Davey Houck recovered for a good 9th place finish. Dustin Painter ends off his season with a really good 10th place finish in that number 65. Erwich George, a good result for him, 11th place. His 2nd best career result in this series on iRacing of this season at least. James Kerr in 12th, Donald Ray 13th, John Smeal recovered to 14th, Reynolds 15th, Seth Wansing in 16th, Ryan Pennell 2 laps down in 17th, and Brandon Fetterplace in the 18th position. As we scroll through the rest of the grid, Thomas Andrews 19th. We start looking at a lot of the DNFs here. Fetterplace, obviously one of the DNFs in 18th. Andrews, Jason Alexander, Bren Roberts, Kevin Feimster. The last of those on the leaderboard. Matthew Kent, our race control here tonight, did a really good job of trying to keep things under control when things got hectic. Really good effort from him. We are going to bring in the owner of ARCS, Ryan Pennell. Obviously, some words for him. What's been a very, very successful first year of ARCS on iRacing, as it has expanded and bloomed from a small little group going from NASCAR Heat to the world of iRacing. He's done a phenomenal job helping lead the way. So we'll lead him in. Ryan, this is Clayton from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Alrighty, Ryan. That's a full season of racing in the books. Obviously, what was a series running on NASCAR Heat has turned into so much more. The season's done and dusted, and 2023 is rapidly approaching. How you feeling having this now in the books? Like, it's a full season done and dusted.
Man, I honestly, I feel awesome. It's been a great year. We've come a long way since we started on NASCAR Heat. You know, it wasn't even supposed to be a league. You know, I kept points secretly and told everybody, hey, yeah, this isn't gonna be a league or anything. And then I dropped points like 3 weeks later, and everybody was like, "What? I thought you weren't keeping points." And I was like, "Well, I lied." And we ran 2 seasons on NASCAR Heat, and then this is our first full season on iRacing, and man, I honestly couldn't be more proud. 36 races is a long season, and yeah, y'all have to forgive my voice. I don't hardly have a voice because I was cheering on my Georgia Bulldogs Saturday night, so I'm struggling to speak a little bit. But yeah, it's been a hell of a season, man. I just can't even begin to show my appreciation to all the drivers, to you, Clayton, for committing, for the whole season, even though you weren't supposed to. I've heard from other drivers that tonight was a huge success on ABN, so it's got me really, really stoked for next year for 2023. And it's going to just be that much bigger than it was this year. We've grown our series on Sunday nights. Since we started our first race, I think we had like 10 guys. We were just having fun, and we have consistently fielded 20 plus drivers week in and week out. And next year will be no different. So I've had a lot of fun. I really have. We've had some terrible races, but every league goes through that. Tonight started off a little rough, but we gathered it together. I kind of gave him a little pep talk over iRacing in that first stage, and seemed to help a little bit. So next year, I think it'll be even better with the draft. The team owners will only be picking drivers that are able to be consistent, able to be clean, and able to get them points for their team. So I'm already can't wait for February 2023, the Clash. That's going to be a lot of fun, and then we'll go straight into Daytona for Speed Weeks and ARCS. We love our Speed Weeks, so we are going to have a full-on party. The draft's going to be a full-on party. Everybody is already like so excited, they can't wait. So I'm excited for 2023. Good to have a little bit of a break. It's been a long 36 race season. I mean, that's 36 lobbies that I've had to set up throughout the season. Clayton, as you know, that money adds up pretty quick. So it's not cheap to keep these leagues running. But to have a moment like tonight, congrats to Jeremy on his championship. It's just makes me really proud as an owner of ARCS and an owner of A Squared. I couldn't ask for anything more. Clayton, I don't know if you're trying to talk, but I can't hear you.
I was muted. Yep. Did that again.
Yeah,
Yep.
what I thought.
Nope, you're good. I'll rehash it here. But as I was saying before, I joined in Christmas last year, and we knew what was going to happen. We didn't know what it was going to look like. And there's so many moments that you can pick out of, and that's going to be on a podcast, I'm sure, at some point in the off season. But looking at where everything was last Christmas to where it is now, did you ever think it'd be like this in 1 year? Because it's been a wild year across the board for so many people. Just looking back at where you thought it was going to be last Christmas, how does that compare to where it is now?
I mean, it's night and day. We finished up last year. We had as ARCS, we had started making that transition to iRacing well before the A Squared season was finished on Xbox. So we had a lot of guys that were kind of switching back and forth between iRacing and Xbox, including myself, including a lot of the drivers that you see out there every Sunday night. And that was tough because we saw the potential on iRacing, with some of the other stuff we had started and we were running. But we couldn't abandon the season before it was over last year. So we had to finish out with heat, and it's not the greatest game, but man, it brought a lot of us together as friends and family. Um, and to be able to race with a lot of those guys this year on iRacing has just been phenomenal. I mean, it's just been so much fun. Um, you know, to see the guys that have been really successful on heat come over to iRacing and have that same success, and then having new people that were not in our heat series that got in on A squared and really shined. I mean, Jeremy, Jacob Blankenship, Bryn Roberts, Brandon Fetterplace. There's just so many drivers. I mean, I could list them all day, but that didn't run with us before on heat, but found us and got involved in the iRacing side of things, and it's it's really night and day. I mean, last year we were finishing up. Seth won his second championship in a row on the heat side of things, and we made the announcement that we were moving to iRacing full time in 2022. And I honestly, I was worried. I mean, as an owner and admin of A squared, I was really worried that the car count wouldn't be good, that the racing wouldn't be good. A lot of people were new, a lot of people didn't quite know what they were doing, but man, the drivers just showed up and showed out week after week. And that's just, again, I mean, without the drivers, we wouldn't be anything. We wouldn't be a league, we wouldn't be a series. So the drivers really have made A squared what it is. And I think 2023 is going to be even better than this year. So I'm excited for next year. Can't wait for the draft. I think that's going to probably be one of the biggest party nights in ARCS history. There's going to be a lot of people in the chat, hoping to get drafted, hoping to make that 2023 Cup roster. So that's going to be a lot of fun next year.
Yeah, so much going on. Obviously, so much happened this year. So much more going on next year with the Xfinity Series. Obviously, Saturday Night Showdown, Champ Car, Thursday Night Thunder, A squared, ARCS Extreme. So much happens here on a regular basis. There is so many people to kind of shout out and say thank you to. But looking towards next year, obviously you talk about the draft and everything for A squared, but in general, like, I guess, like, and we'll kind of leave this kind of open-ended. The goal for this year was just establish ARCS as a presence on iRacing. That's been accomplished pretty easily. Looking towards next year, what are the goals next year?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, the goals for next year are just to have competitive races, clean races, all the drivers race each other with respect, which we have done really, really well at that. Pretty much after the Kansas race, when I kind of had a little talking to all the drivers, and I told them, look, y'all are better than this. Like, this is ridiculous. I said it with a lot more curse words and a lot more words behind those curse words, but um, they understood that. I mean, they realized that we are the top tier of ARCs. I mean, every series has its niche. TNT has, they're known for their long runs. They're known for the strategy of fuel and tires. SNS is known for being the truck series and having kind of a different spin on the schedule a little bit. Same with ARCS Extreme. It's different atmosphere, different tracks. It's kind of more laid back. Sunday night is known as the premier series of ARCS. It's next gen. It's a Cup series. You win on Sunday night, and you are somebody special. And I think next year that'll be even more, of a true statement, because you're going to have 28 of the best that ARCS has to offer. And even some other people outside of ARCS, that are trying to get drafted. I mean, even I think Emma Carter put her name in the draft portal. So there's a lot of really good talent. We have some other drivers from our sister series OG, which is now I think they rebranded to Grassroots Racing Series, but a lot of really, really good drivers coming from ARCS, from Grassroots, from ABN, um, to have a chance to run on Sunday night with the best of the best. I mean, it will be. It's not like we're fielding 28 cars and 20 of them are off the pace. It's going to be 28 drivers that are competitive, and it's going to be hard to even finish in the top 20 next year if you don't practice and you don't get ready for those races. So I'm extremely excited for 2023.
Obviously, it was a big night tonight. It's been a huge, long season, and there's a lot of off-season stuff that ARCS is still doing. Obviously, we talk. ABN's got a charity race later on this month on the 19th. ARCS has got its own charity event, Jingle Jam. Obviously, so much that we'll be able to talk about. It'll be on the website, on both ARCS website and on ABN's website. It's there. But I guess for everyone that's watching, we'll kind of leave it off with this. For those that don't know about ARCS, we'll kind of leave it kind of cut and dry. We'll kind of clip this and put it in its own little frame. With a season done and dusted on iRacing, it's the end of 2022, and it's a reset button. What is ARCS about? What can people expect? And why should they be here? I'll let you kind of lead the way with that one before we end the night off.
Sure, yeah. I mean, ARCS it's a family community, man. I mean, everybody that has raced understands that. Yes, we race, we're competitive, but at the end of the day, we are a big family. We help each other out when a member is down. We pick them up. We are respectful to each other. And we just like to have fun. I mean, that's what this is. I mean, at the end of the day, this is still a simulation. It's still a video game. And some people take it too seriously, and that's fine. Some people do take it very, very seriously, and hey, power to them. But here at ARCS, we like to be competitive, but also have fun while we're doing it. And if it ever gets to the point where that's not happening, then we have a serious problem, and it has to be, fixed and adjusted accordingly. So, yeah, you can go to racearcs.com. Feel free to apply. We run almost 7 nights a week. I mean, next year we'll pretty much be running. Mondays will be our ARCS Extreme Asphalt. Tuesdays will be our ARCS Extreme Dirt. Wednesdays, of course, will be Champ Car. Thursdays will be TNT. Friday Xfinity. Saturday Trucks. Sunday A Squared Cup. So you're talking 7 days a week. We will be racing in 2023 at some point. So there's always something to do, and even if we're not racing, if we have an off week, there'll be 12 people on here just, hanging out, drinking, having a good time, and just partying and having fun. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. If you start letting this, affect your stress level and affect your life, then you're never going to have fun iRacing. So we like to have fun while still being competitive, and I think we do a pretty damn good job at it.
It's been a very fun year, top to bottom in racing for everything that goes on in ARCS, and it's a full-on effort. Before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your night, obviously your team won a championship tonight with Jeremy Breo at the wheel. But does anyone to shout out and say thank you to? Obviously, a lot of the admins kind of have their own credits there that they're on the website there. But does anyone particularly want to shout out and say thank you to? The floor is yours, Ryan. Congrats on a very well done season of A Squared Racing on iRacing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, yeah, I gotta thank you. I gotta I appreciate Briley and Terry helping you out tonight. I know that was probably a good thing for you. I know it's hard to call a race by yourself, so I'm glad you had some help in the booth. Unfortunate that Briley had to be in the booth because he got penalized, but sometimes it's just that's how it works. But yeah, I mean, just shout out to all the admins. They've really helped me out throughout the year. Next year we're probably going to add one more admin. We're looking to add a race control and also a kind of a race replay admin, so they'll look through the replays after the race is over. So we definitely have some moves in the right direction, I think, for 2023. But no, just overall, I mean, again, like I said, the admins are a huge help. But at the end of the day, I got to thank the drivers and the community. I mean, without the drivers and without the community, we wouldn't be doing this. So it's really those drivers that, even though they didn't make the playoffs, excuse me, they didn't make the playoffs, they didn't make the cut, they didn't get in. I mean, we're still, even this race, we had 3 guys that were outside of the top 25 in points start this race. I mean, that's, I've been a part of a lot of leagues. I've been in other leagues that when you start the playoffs, they struggle bad
Yeah.
with driver count. I mean, it's a problem. Um, and we have never struggled with driver count for A squared. I mean, the lowest I think we probably had was maybe 16 or 17, which is nothing to laugh about. I mean, and for the finale to have, 21, 22 cars start the field, just absolutely amazing. And that, that thanks needs to go to the drivers. I mean, I have lit into their ass a couple times in the season, but it was for a reason, because I thought we weren't racing the standard that A squared racing should be racing at. And after those talks, the racing got much better. We raced each other with much more respect. And you got to think that a lot of these guys, this is the first year that they've ever ran against each other on a racetrack. So 2023, having a lot of returning drivers, a lot of people that have been used to racing each other for a year now, that respect level is going to be even better. The racing is going to be even better, and just everything on the track should be a better product for everyone that's watching. So super stoked. Again, thank you to you, Clayton, and for DP and Briley helping you out tonight. I appreciate y'all. But man, season's over. I'm ready for next year.
Absolutely. So am I. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ryan, again, congrats on an amazing season. Co-owner here of ARCS, running A squared. It's been a very long journey, but what a way to have it end. It's been a lot of fun. Can't wait to see what we can do next year as well. Every race is going to be on ABN, so we get to have a lot more fun. So appreciate everything that's been done this year. It's been an honor being a part of the ride, and we're just getting started. So Ryan, enjoy it.
Yes,
kind of take a chance and reflect on it, and just enjoy everything that's been accomplished tonight. It's been well earned on your behalf as well. Yeah, let's bring on 2023.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some good sleep for the next 2 months.
Right? Absolutely. But yeah, again, Ryan, congratulations on a good season. Congratulations on just how everything's went this season. Obviously, we'll be talking very soon. For everyone that's watching, that it's obviously we've reached 250 followers on Twitch tonight, so we appreciate all of that. For those that are interested in keeping up with things, again, racearcs.com is where you're going to want to be. Podcasts, racing series, all the information you're going to need to know will be on that website as well as on abnesports.com, where we have our broadcast link, and we'll be covering news articles on A squared events beginning next year. Ryan, thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting on this series and giving us something to do on a Sunday evening. The effort is enormous, and it requires a lot of appreciation in kind. There's been times where it's been rough, but it's been so worth it. So we appreciate all the effort you put into it, and we can't wait to see what we put together next year.
Yep. Thank you, buddy.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
Alrighty, that was Ryan Pinnell, the co-owner of ARCS, one of, I believe, three owners of ARCS, sorry, because it's Pinnell, Andrews, and Sears that are co-owners here. What a run for the season. We're going to take a look again. Here is the moment that won the championship for Jeremy Breo. What a moment indeed. Beating out Jacob Blankenship for the championship. What a night. What a night for everyone indeed. It doesn't end for us here on ABN. Monday night, tomorrow night, we get to Talladega for some Motor City Cup Series action. Wednesday night, it's preseason testing for ABN Hyper Formula, and the next Saturday, SCRL Truck Series action from Darlington, Lady in Black. So we're back to normal capacity for the series that end in December. Briley, Terry, thank you for being in the booth. It was a lot of fun tonight. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more of you both, maybe on track next season. Let's see what y'all can do next season, see what we can figure out. But for everyone that tuned in, all of our subscribers, all the people that followed us and got us above 250 on Twitch, I'm Clayton Hardy, alongside me, Briley Wright and Terry Gabbard, sending off the Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series season. Here from Phoenix, congrats to Jeremy Breo, congrats to ARCS on a successful year of racing. We'll see you tomorrow night, and we'll see you later this week. Until then, on behalf of ABN, ARCS, Darkside Mustangs, Windy Chevrolet, and Midwest Barbecue, so long, everybody.